he managed to convince everyone. So
even Reed or not Reed?
No, we're getting Reed versus Tom Haid for round 1. So, yeah, we definitely pulled through.
The thing about not having Reed on is like, are we live, by the way?
I don't think they can hear us, is the thing.
We saw a lot of subpar.
Wait, hold on. They can hear us.
Okay. Well, regardless, we saw a lot of subpar Star Wars cards yesterday. A lot.
I think so, too. Yeah.
It was pretty ugly, even from some of the good players.
Yeah.
And, like, Reed, obviously one of the best players in the game. Like, I think it's just a disservice to what we're trying to accomplish here.
Right, we want to see the high quality. And, I mean, we've got probably the top 2 players at the event in this match. So, this...
Well, we would have said that going into the match. Although, I guess Haid redeemed himself after I called him out on the video.
What did he do that we disagreed with? I can't remember.
I don't remember. There was, what are his decks? I kind of forget.
He was playing the court with the, sail barge gun and the sail barge.
Oh, yeah. He did something that we really disagreed with, though. Like, we were straight. I was actually thinking about how and I never think this, but I was like, oh, maybe I was too harsh. Because we were just, saying this is actually really bad, what he was doing. We were saying it was actively bad. We couldn't find a reason for why he was doing what he was doing.
I'm trying to remember what that was. I believe you. They couldn't blur together a little bit. It was so many court games.
There were so many court games. It was a battle outside. Oh, did I not watch my book?
Oh, that's when he initiated that battle in the audience chamber when he just had the win sewn up anyway and got himself weapon loved.
Was that it?
I think so.
I thought it was before that, but.
All right. Well, it looks like. All right. So can they hear us or not?
I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Meg, where's my Boba Fett tank top? I need it.
Or it might be in the laundry cabinet downstairs.
Upstairs. Gotcha. Can't go to the lake without my Boba Fett tank top, bro.
I'm trying to listen on the Twitch stream. Oh, okay. I kind of hear. Yeah, it's definitely faint.
Faint?
Yeah, the volume was low.
Yes, I understand what faint means, bro. Oh, yeah. Do you have a Boba Fett tank top?
I do not.
Damn, bro. Got to get on that.
I think my only Star Wars related apparel is stuff that the PC has given out.
Really?
I have a couple NPC shirts.
I have 19 Star Wars t-shirts that are all great. All right, so this is...
Some of them can hear. All right, it looks like they can hear. And all right, so I guess we just go into it.
So Tom Haid's on Our Most Desperate Hour, and Reed is... Oh, they can switch decks, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, Reed. I wanted to see Reed CRV mains. I guess he's saving it for Worlds. So he's playing Hunt Down with... looks like Combat Response, I Am Your Father, and what's that third effect, Tom?
It was the Mobilization Points combo, and he used that to grab security precautions.
So what's the... Oh, that's Knowledge and Defense. It's on table. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's the special Knowledge and Defense that Kevin Shannon made for all of the SoCal Grand Prix participants with your own face instead of Luke's. He made a custom one for everyone.
Your face here.
Yeah. I had one too. It was pretty cool. And I lost it.
You lost it?
It was too bad. I had one with my face on it.
How did you lose it? How do you lose a card?
Oh, easily. I've lost cards in the middle of the event. My Doctor Bay 94 one time just wasn't there against Steve Ferroni. That was a little issue.
Huh. That's interesting. One time Steve Baroni lost his whole sideboard against me in a Magic tournament, and so he just scooped me because it was round 1, and he was definitely he had like won the match, but he couldn't find his docking bay. Not his docking bay. That's yours. He couldn't find his sideboard.
Hold on. In this Diplo, Tom Hayes' Diplo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 copies of Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight.
8?
Yes.
Don't monarch me, bro.
Wait, it might be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 7. It's kind of hard. You lose track of where you were counting. 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 7 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights.
That's crazy.
He plays 3 copies of You Will Take Me to Jabba Now.
Okay.
What does that pull? That pulls like an alien, right? So what aliens is he trying to pull?
I don't know.
I think it... Are we going to look up You Will Take Me to Jabba Now?
I'm on mobile, so you're in charge of all this stuff.
Yeah, all right. Deploy 1 alien to the audience chamber from reserve.
That's it?
Yeah, so who's he trying to search up? I'm trying to see.
It's got to be the guy who stops Court, right? Or no, does he have Boshuda?
I don't see Boshuda.
Because the only thing I would think is that he has Boshuda, so he can just throw an alien in Boshuda.
Yeah. And I was thinking maybe it was like the guy that used like the Sell the Interrupt guy. I can't remember the name. But I don't see that card. So I'm not exactly sure what Tom is doing with this list, but we'll probably find out soon.
All right, I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna get off the stream and check the list here, see if I can decipher anything.
Sure. So we've got now just in terms of what's happening in this game, Reed gets his first turn Vader by way of Blizzard 4. Tom electing not to go with the Goldenrod shield, which I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would have, the Goldenrod shield would have stopped that first turn Blizzard 4.
Yeah, I think against Huntdown, that has to be your first action.
I always do it against Huntdown, yeah. Against most other decks, I don't bother. But Huntdown, I will. So I'm not sure if that was a risk, an error, or just some other he has 2 perimeter scans in the deck too, so you shouldn't be worried about getting shield busted. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this deck. He's got the city outskirts as well as the moisture farm and the audience chamber. He has like... What was a really weird card that we saw?
It looks like that he's just using the You Will Take Me to Jabba Now. Is it unique or not? To like dump Solo, Lando with Axe, Chewie with Bowcaster.
Yeah, it is unique. So yeah, that's maybe what it is.
I guess it just, but 3 mites.
Yeah, the 3 mites. The 3 mites are more normal because you've got Bail, who is great, Mothma.
But 3's a lot though.
Senator Leia.
I get that 3 is quote unquote normal, but that's a lot of red that doesn't do a whole lot for you.
Yeah, no, a lot of red that just pulls the characters, so that kind of cuts down on the number of characters.
That seems like overkill. It just seems like his red is like totally overkill. There's not a single combat trick in here. Savrip.
Yeah,
I guess Savrip is why he has the escape pods.
Yeah,
but no Hoojix. Oh yeah, there's a Hoojix actually. It's the last one.
Yeah. Oh, Liana Marion also was a strange. That struck me as a very odd card. And we just saw her. I mean, she's Alderaanian, right? Liana?
She must be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would you play her?
Otherwise, why would she have that haircut also?
Right. That's the other thing. She's just the light side senator that like...
Yeah, the use to or lose to girl?
Yeah. A woman, Tom. You don't call women girls. Jesus.
Oh. All right, fine. Woman.
All right, so he's got Saber 1 and Baron in his dark. 4 short-range fighters. He's doing the Slave 1 Boba Fett. And Maul Sith Infiltrator. I don't see another ship in Reed's deck.
Do we not have... Is this a non-flip Diplo? I think it is. Did we see Alderaan and Chandrilla?
Wait, he doesn't even have Chandrilla?
No. Yeah, so non-flip. He's just using it here as a platform for celebration. Just have space and have sights.
But wouldn't you still just play Chandrilla for the activation? No.
I mean...
He's got no...
I wouldn't hate it, no.
He's got no other activation.
Yeah, he just... The sights that he plays, yeah.
Alright, I'll be very interested to see.
Wait, does he have other ships?
Doesn't look like it.
No, Tantive is the ship. So against... I guess he has to peel against entanglements. He can't ever lose Tantive, or he just loses the game. He has... I mean, the fact that he has Savrip makes it a lot better to have 7 Jedi Lukes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. But until the Savrip...
And, I mean, he can really just stuff... Yeah, but he has the 3 escape pods. I mean, that's the part of the list I probably like the most, is the 3 escape pod combos and Savrip and a bunch of Jedi Lukes.
Yeah. So meanwhile, we have Tom Haid canceling the first Force Drain with It's a Hit, and It's a Hit being grabbed. I think that must be on Strike Force?
Yeah.
It's
something special. Something special.
Yeah, something special.
Reed played turn 1.
Yeah, and also on Justice, we see Maul... Something interrupted, maybe a ship?
No, he stacked Maul and the blockade hallway and a watch your back combo.
Oh, that's a sight on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the perfect card to stack.
Watch your back?
Next matchup. No, watch your back's obviously good to stack in any matchup.
Yeah.
But the bridge and like a lot of times you can get boned if you stack your battleground, but this is not a there are obviously a lot of matchups where you don't get boned, and this is one of them.
Yeah. Well, bridge is that's his Twix.
Sorry, not the bridge, the hallway.
That one. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because I have stacked my probably a lot of us have been there, but I know one time I stacked my back door and it was an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
It was like against Hidden Base or something.
Yeah, those are the worst games. It just feels so hopeless. But yeah, this one he wouldn't even be interested in playing the bridge in this game, so he's totally fine with that.
The hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hallway is probably...
You do
Did I
it
say
too.
the bridge too?
Yeah. So I was actually thinking about this. I almost posted on the boards last night, but I want to give you some credit. I know I am unrelenting, as Slucci said, in giving you shit. But when you said Vader drew a 3 for Choke Destiny against Mahdi, like, I'm still laughing at that. Like, that was probably the funniest thing you'll ever say in your life.
Ooh.
So that was really good, and I want to give you credit for that. It was really funny. It was legitimately funny.
Appreciate it.
And I feel like my sense of humor is so advanced for a human that things that other people say can't usually make me laugh. Just like television shows and stuff.
So in the process of making this compliment,
yeah,
you've complimented yourself, and you've also insulted me by saying that I will never say anything funnier than that.
It's called a backdoor insult, and it's called... Meg, what does Jenna call it when she compliments herself while she's putting someone else down? It's from 30 Rock. Yeah, we'll have to look it up. It's from 30 Rock. It's when you insult someone by giving yourself a compliment, too. It's like a whole thing. But did you see what I did there?
Like
I complimented you, insulted you, and complimented myself all in the same comment.
Yeah, I picked up on all of the levels.
Well, maybe your sense of humor is even more advanced than I assumed. So we get Jedi Luke. We get that Elephant Ray going up to space. I assume he put Bail in space because I see another character up there.
Yeah, I think we see a Rebel and Republic icon. Does Bail have both of those?
Yeah, Bail's both.
Yeah, okay. That must be
so like my father before me, he doesn't have the lightsaber. He didn't get it.
Still can, and it might just be he's waiting He's resolving the random things first. Yep. So
it does or doesn't let you get your lightsaber back. It does not, right? If it does,
no. You just you can only pull it from reserve deck. I'm your father.
Right.
Let's get it back.
Yes. So with 7 Jedi Lukes, you would think that he would play.
Does he play 2 sabers? Did we?
I didn't notice 2 sabers, but like I really have liked.
I only
Baragwin.
see one Luke's lightsaber here.
Yeah, the Baragwin tech with that I think is like really, really solid.
Yeah. No, I don't see Baragwin either. I'm surprised actually.
Especially in this deck where you
with that interrupt can pull the Baragwin.
Does it only play it to the audience chamber though?
Yeah, so that's kind of bad.
That's
but
that's bad.
You can also put it on the Tantive, you know. But also especially in this deck because he has no battle evasion, so Luke's just gonna die.
Wait, is he playing an audience chamber?
Yeah, the audience chamber's out.
Where did he? How does he get it?
With the objective pulls Tatooine sites once per turn.
Okay, all right. This is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean it's coming together. I would not expect it anything less from Tom Haid.
I think that this can be optimized a little bit, but especially with the Baragwin. Maybe not the Alderaanian senator, but maybe because like didn't we see other Alderaanians like Lieutenant Chad Hilsey or something like that?
Yeah, we've seen Hilsey, we've seen Captain Ramus Antilles.
Yeah, so I gotta imagine that there's better ones to play.
I mean, the only consideration he must be making is that we've got Might of the Republic to pull. Leon.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why he does it. Whether or not
True,
we can debate whether or not that's the optimal, but that's presumably why Liana.
Yeah, and that's good. I don't know. I sort of like what's going on here from like if I'm standing far away from it, like a Monet. But if I'm looking closely at it, I feel like I see just a bunch of blurriness that needs to be sharpened. I did, however, play some Jemp this morning. With that TIE EOPS deck.
How'd it go?
Well, I still have not lost on Jemp. I am
nice
7-0.
Nice.
But I think I cut a barrier for a second Talon roll because I was like, if we're going all in on this Talon roll thing, why only play one?
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of ships that dodge the Talon roll right now.
Yeah, but it's still Dark Maneuvers in a 6 for sneak attack and stuff. Yeah. So I think it's still good. And barrier, and a lot of people play barrier cancel. So
yeah, oh yeah, I think pretty much every light side plays barrier cancels.
And I cut one of the Vaders, the non-choke Vader, for a Maul. But then I was thinking, man, this deck could use Imperial Domination. That'd be cool in this deck.
Is Maul the only one that messes that up?
Yeah, I mean, in his list, he didn't have any Mauls. I just threw a Maul with Saber in because why not?
Yeah. All right.
So we've got some action.
Yep. Boba Fett coming down to the farm,
which is pretty canonical. If you consider the comic books where Boba Fett hunted Luke on Tatooine when he returned to Obi-Wan's hut, so not too far away. So Boba Fett comes down to just chill with Vader. Vader moves over with the Blizzard 4 and gets outside.
So was this while Luke was en route to Alderaan? Boba Fett was still at the farm?
No, when Luke was on his way to Alderaan, Boba Fett was not on Tatooine.
Okay.
Luke returned to Tatooine after the events of Episode 1, before the events of Episode 4, before the events of Episode 5, to go get Obi-Wan's journals, and Boba Fett hunted him down. Boba Fett is the reason Vader finds out Luke is a Skywalker.
He didn't know that at first?
He didn't know that when Luke blew up the Death Star. No. He finds that out from Boba Fett because Boba Fett and Luke fight. Luke gets away, but Boba Fett reports back. He's like, I couldn't get him, but I did find out one thing. His name is Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
And then
I guess we just kind of always took it for granted how Vader suddenly knew everything about Luke.
Well, it was just written into the comics just written into the comics like 2 years ago. In I think it was either Star Wars number 2 or Darth Vader number 1, possibly. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly. But then like Vader goes nuts and he like shatters a bunch of glass on like a Star Destroyer because he's pissed because he thinks about how Palpatine. They have a cut flashback to Palpatine.
Right, telling him that the kids were dead.
Yeah, and then he gets pissed. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife looked it up. That is called backdoor bragging.
Backdoor bragging. Okay.
It's hard for me to watch American Idol because I have perfect pitch.
It's hard for me to watch American Idol because I have perfect pitch. Exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Speaking something wonderful about yourself in everyday conversation.
Eve, don't lick the crumbs. My daughter's licking the crumbs out of her bowl.
Oh yeah, I would do that too.
She also she can't stand dirty hands, so every time she eats a chip, she's wiping her hands on my Boba Fett. All right, so we have we have the alien card deploying Lando with Axe, which is solid.
Yeah, and we get a use pile search out of it. Also, Leia as a spy canceling Visage because he's gone to the Holofeeder. So
yep. And I guess he's probably gonna. This is how he pulls his celebrations, is with the use pile searches.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
And we've got a.
He's kind of overcharging the Masterful move combos here because you've got the celebrations you want to cancel, the Sav rips, so that's probably the card that he's planning on grabbing.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if Reed what he's packing in terms of Masterful moves. Reed has one copy. Dude, that's really loud.
What is?
Whatever
the music?
Music, yeah.
Oh, it's like really far away.
Oh.
I'll turn it down though.
Reed has one copy of Masterful Movement. It faded away. It was loud like 10 seconds ago.
You know what happens is like shows on Netflix, like they just blast the theme music for some reason, but everything else is quiet.
Yeah, probably just want to build like the association or something.
I would also like an Edge in Hade's list, just to get some of this stuff that's cancelable back.
That makes sense to me. Is it only one celebration or are there two? Either way, it's not cancelable, at least by Masterful move.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the really good things about Diplo in space is that as long as you don't deliver the plans, R2 and 3PO are immortal. So you can just forfeit them and then shuttle them back up and just always have that 7.
And then if you have to sab rip, you can, which you probably won't.
Yeah. So he's looking like unless Masterful move comes down, he's probably pretty secure in space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's pretty okay just running away on the ground here.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely. I mean, as long as he's celebrating, he's gonna run away all day.
Yeah.
Because he can he has things like it's a hit, that he can start using.
Well, he already used it in his grab.
No, it's grabbed, right. But he, but I mean, as a basic strategy.
Oh yeah.
He could have tried to get something else grabbed. You know what I mean? And with Reed overcommitted to one site, it's going to be really hard for Reed to fight him. In all these venues at 3 Tatooine locations, on the Executor, for the Executor.
And we've got EPP Maul, of course, is the one that we have not seen yet, and that's the big threat.
Yeah, of course.
But that's just about it. We've got Count Dooku, EPP Mara, but there's a lot more space than is usual in Huntdown in this deck, which makes sense to me. I think
but he's out. One of his big space hitters is already on the ground, and he lost the Slave 1.
Yeah. So his space wouldn't do that much anyway, against what Tom Hate is backing.
Right. Okay, so does he only have EPP Maul, or can he play Tap Maul?
He has 3 copies of EPP Maul, so Tap Maul.
So he can't blank out to cancel Celebration.
Right. That would be good, but I mean, Huntdown and EPP Maul is so good at Huntdown that you can't really afford to run Tap Maul.
No, I figure I'm just with this more space-oriented version. I just was curious.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm just trying to think of things that he could possibly have to disrupt what's on the board, which isn't a lot. I think the fact that Boba Fett's on the ground is really rough for him.
I mean, this reminds me. Remember that game that we cast the online finals with Steve Baroni versus Russell, where it was this match, and Steve seemed like he was firing on all cylinders, and Russell ended up taking it anyway because it's hard for Don to get damage to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then like that's just doubly so with this celebration version.
Yes, that's true. Because any damage that he does get done is going to be retrieved.
I wonder if Hayde kind of shit his pants when he saw the combat response start because of he's with the one ship in space. Yeah. I'm sure he was expecting Reed to maybe like still play his CRV, which of course I think he started combat response in that as well.
Yeah, we really don't know. But yeah, imagine if Reed's turn 1 had been like Baron somebody, like imagine if Reed cleared Tantive 4 turn 1 and able to draw like 2 Destiny up there. That's probably hard to do with the amount of force that he has. Dude, that background music.
Clangers, bro. I can't believe you can pick that up.
Oh, it's louder than your voice for sure.
It's louder than my voice?
It's not even close.
That doesn't make sense. It's like all the way across the room. It's being diffused by the fan, and my headset is like right next to my face.
No, well, it's gone now. So I don't know.
I distracted my daughter with an iPad and I lowered the volume.
Okay. Anyway, I don't know if Reed is stepping away for a personal rules question or
maybe he's shitting his pants now.
I don't see any hands at the table. I don't see action going on. So something happening.
So I guess we could think about some other ways for Reed to get in this game. Like obviously Maul. But Hayde has Ahsoka and EPP Obi-Wan. All right, so here's Maul going after Vader, which is where you would expect him to. Hayde has absolutely no tricks.
No, so this is
but he does have 3 resilience, so I mean, and 7 Jedi Luke. So, if you have to think that he needed some battle tricks in this deck.
Yeah, so he probably walkings the saber back and tries to deploy another Luke, but
yeah, and for the second time, Reed has flashed Dengar for combat response to look through his deck.
Yeah.
So we're unable to see what kind of Destinies are in there at the moment, but gotta imagine in a hunt down with
Destiny is usually high.
Yeah, Destiny's usually good. So hard to think that we won't see Choppity Chops.
Oh, going for a third. That's Mara.
That's okay, so he decides to play Mara with Maul, which is really curious when he could just have her with Rey, have her against Rey, which seems like a much better place for her.
Well, he must just be going for the overflow here. And that does hit Luke.
It does?
Yeah, 1-7. So,
I thought he was
oh, I see. He's force fielding Luke's swing, so there's not going to be a clear here.
Yeah, so
like I would have expected it much more. Like if there was the Phantom Menace, it kind of makes even then. So, but with the force field, it makes more sense because now one guy will die and it'll be
right. I just think
maybe even forfeit Maul here so that you can play another Maul as opposed to, and keep Mara on the table.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but he's still celebrating for 2 next turn.
Yeah. So let's see. Did we see what the Dark Side Destiny is? I kind of missed it.
It was a 5. It was a watch your back combo.
So we've got that 17 power versus 14 power. So Tom Hayes is down 3 here.
But he is Sabrip, so
he does have
lose that Senator from hand and be fine.
Yeah. And then he doesn't even really need to walkling the Luke's lightsaber. he can just retrieve with the celebration.
Right. I guess that's a good point, is that he can always expect to retrieve it.
But he might be scared of getting Masterful or Celebration combo or canceled right afterwards. So he might think, oh, I have to walk in right now.
So he resiliences, which is what we sort of expect him to do.
So if you play the Resilience, it has to go on top of the Saber. Yeah, and he correctly places it. So now he doesn't have the walking option. Although we know that Reed's Master Row moves are combo. Or are non-combo. So he can't actually cancel the Celebration. So the Saber's coming back.
Right.
Interesting that he lost Luke Jedi Knight from hand with the Sabrip to cover.
I know, because what he could have done is he could have walk linked this turn and used, like my father before me, to pull the Saber next turn. Now he can't use the Saber next turn.
Right. Yeah, and he's flipped. Or Reed is flipped to the 7th side, which doesn't have too much of an impact with Visage not being on the table, but now Leia can't drain. Little thing. Rey is, at this moment, not a Skywalker, so she is able to drain.
Well, she's a Kenobi anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Really? Okay. Not buying it.
No. 2 people in Star Wars have a British accent on the light side. Obi-Wan Kenobi and Rey.
What? That's not genetic.
Maybe it is in the Star Wars universe. You don't know. I just think she's like Obi-Wan Kenobi's great niece.
Great niece, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we know that Obi-Wan's one love died. They did not procreate.
Who's Obi-Wan's one love?
Oh, the Duchess Satine of Mandalore.
Oh.
Actually, they could have procreated when they were younger, and she could have a child, like, in hiding. But she dies. I imagine we would have found out that she had a kid when she gets murdered.
Like there's got to be a lot of forbidden... I think the Jedi Order is on the wrong track with this whole celibacy thing. The Jedi are out in the world.
Yeah, I agree. But, we've had forbidden loves. I mean, Obi-Wan and Satine were in love, but I don't think they necessarily acted on it. I just think that they were in love. One of those unrequited, sort of sad things. Death of Satine, one of my favorite Star Wars moments of all time. Maul murders her right in front of Obi-Wan. It's insane.
Oh, jerk.
With the Darksaber, which is even more insane.
Wait, Maul and Obi-Wan had history before? That's totally not reflected in Episode 1.
No, dude. Maul didn't die in Episode 1. Maul comes back to life. Like, Maul didn't die.
Oh, that's stupid. That's the worst retcon I've ever heard.
Well, it's not a retcon.
It totally is.
They didn't change anything.
They changed. He clearly is represented as dying in Episode 1. Like, you're not supposed to have any doubt about that.
Well, they give him robot legs.
Yeah, I've heard of this. They tried to make a card like Maul's cybernetic legs, and everyone said no. It's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great.
All right, hold on 1 second.
The idea of Maul living is not great, but the fact that they killed Maul to begin with was stupid, so... I think that's sort of what they were going for. Like, why'd you kill this great person? And then all the stuff that comes after. If you just erase those 5 minutes where Maul falls down the shaft, then everything else is cool.
Yeah, I mean, not only does he fall down the shaft, he's in half.
Yeah, but Anakin got fucking mauled and burnt by lava, and he lived, so...
He had got immediate medical attention.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know how Maul got
They found him at the
medical.
bottom of the... Why was there a bottomless pit, first of all?
And why was there a bottomless pit on the Death Star, too?
That's also true. Emperor died. Like, yeah, whatever. Let's not... anyway.
Why was there a giant explosion when the Emperor died? You know what I mean? There's a lot of stupid shit. There's a lot of stupid shit George Lucas did.
I agree.
So, let's... And for all the shit Episode 1 gets, and, like, all the shit he gets for killing Maul, the fact that they were like, well, let's fix this, because Maul was awesome. people get really upset that he didn't die. At the same time, they're getting upset that he did that. So, like, get over yourselves.
I was never upset that he died. I didn't.
I was. I
didn't
thought
think
you
he was
have this
awesome.
amazing character. Like, why do you need a new bad guy in every single movie? It's stupid.
I don't know. I didn't think he was awesome. He said like nothing.
Well, I mean, sure. The whole idea is that he was just completely underused, in the fact that he died, and the fact that he didn't say anything. All right, so let's get back to the action. We've got EPP Obi-Wan and Jedi Luke fighting Mara Jade.
We have a saber duel of happening on Tatooine now. All right, so just the battle. So this is
looks like he battles to use all his force. So all or nothing here.
He's probably just willing to accept that he's going to be cleared, probably.
And that seems terrible because of because of flipping back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, flipping back isn't a huge deal. He has seen that Reed has the Gik in his deck, as opposed to... Alright, so there's the 9. So
sure, but if you flip back, like, you take force from... Oh, Visage is canceled, but you can't train with Leia.
But right now he's potentially doing a lot of damage. So there's the Gik. So, alright, Luke is hit. And if Luke was missed, Luke might survive. That's not totally inconceivable.
Yeah, you had to hope he missed, but he's drawn 7s both times he swung, so.
Yeah, and he's got the Jedi's Resilience here for Obi-Wan, so let's see what his destiny is. It's a 5, close call, lost. So that's, or it's a 6 with Luke, so 6, 11, 14 to Reed's 5, plus destiny is a 5. So that's Mara on 4. That could have gone worse for Reed, could have gone better.
Yeah, I mean, the close call there was just absolutely huge.
Yeah,
I think close call and hunt down in general is awesome.
Yeah, he pretty much had to do it. Interesting that he didn't close call the swing. I guess, yeah, he probably would have close called the swing, but Tom Haid drew a 9 total, so just 1 off from being able to subtract 3 and cancel. Anyway, I'll be back in like 2 minutes, or not even 1 minute.
So as we said, he had the 2nd resilience for the Obi-Wan. He's going to have to lose 1. Going to have to take a drain of 2. 3. Is it 3? I forget the new Moisture Farm text. Unless that's the old Moisture Farm, which it could be. Tough to tell. I guess I could see why Haid went for the beatdown, but I think there's also some merit into like just going down with Obi-Wan there and being able to sab rip if he gets hit. I guess it comes down to I think I would have went for Rey last turn. I think you want to hamper that retrieval. I think you want to not take any damage to a force drain at the Dune Sea. Looks like Reed stepped away one more time. Gonna pop off and check some things from the list. Let me see. Haid, light side. Reed's playing 1 regular Obi-Wan, 1 Obi-Wan with lightsaber, 1 Qui-Gon with lightsaber, 1 Ahsoka with lightsaber.
Alright, I'm back. What has happened? Doesn't look like much.
They stopped playing again. Obi-Wan got resilience, and that's about it.
So has Reed lost the extra overflow yet?
I don't remember.
Okay. It looks like his lost pile is pretty small, so I'm guessing not. Yeah, there
No,
it is.
here we go.
Reed, of course, using these black sleeves that are really hard to differentiate from the tablecloth. But looks like that was all the one from use, including the Gick, which is interesting. Maybe he's trying to no escape back the Gick.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he had the no escape. It'd be, really good thinking to lose right up to that.
Yeah. Or maybe he's just not anticipating needing the Gick again.
Could.
Maybe. I don't know. Gick is... It's a card I usually will want to have in my hand in a match like this.
You're criticizing me for music, but now you're blasting Katy Perry.
Is it really loud? First of all, this
Or
is Adele. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure whether or not you'd be able to hear it. Okay. I'll be back. Alright. I'm just going to turn this down a bit. Coming through on the...
So some more break in the action here. Presumably Reed thinking about how he wants to traverse through his turn. Let's see, what is he activating? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So likely going to pay to drain here. Still enables him to, play something and fight if he wants. Or this could be a turn here where he just draws up.
Maybe these microphones are like tuned to try to really pick up music or something. Because yeah,
Maybe.
it was in the other room. So I don't know what the story. Anyway, is it better now?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that bad before. I was just making fun of you. I didn't really care.
Oh, well, I thought it was that bad because yours was really loud.
Now you have Adele in my head. I am very susceptible to music being put in my head.
Oh, okay. I like Adele. Like,
Wouldn't be my first choice.
pretty good.
Easy listening, but
I mean, it's not my music, but yeah, first choice of easy. I don't know really what the parameters of that category are, but
I mean, I think most listening is easy. It's pretty easy, low acquired skill. I hear music. Yeah, I do too. There's no other way to receive it. Old Mitch Hedberg joke that I think I butchered, but we see Reed finally go to space with his Space Hunt Down deck.
Yeah, so like Carida.
Gone to Carida with Saber One. Maybe his sort of deciphered at this point that there's no other space.
Yeah.
In Hade's deck, and he split his forces. He's moving Vader in front of Lando, which you generally want to have only one person in front of Lando, so there's no exclude shenanigans.
This makes
although
sense to me.
Lando's a great character just because he can do that exclude thing, and he can just add a Destiny. Otherwise, if that's what you want to do, it's so great. Yes. And then Boba Fett and Blizzard 4, an unlikely pair, move out to the city outskirts.
It is. So yeah, I think probably both players are going to read this signal as neither one is really going to struggle over space in this game because...
Yep. You go your way, I'll go mine.
Yeah.
We won't have to pay for our drains.
Slave One and Lost kind of makes it harder for Reed to contest Tatooine because he only gets the one Destiny.
When he flipped that battle damage, he flipped Maul's ship and Emperor's shuttle. So.
Oh, yeah. So yeah.
This is his only ship now.
So Tom's doing his drains. They're kind of about even on damage, I think, at this point. Reed doing more damage, but Tom getting the retrieval. And once he gets that Force Drain at the Holo Theater turned on,
there you go.
Then I think we see Tom pulling ahead here in the damage race. I would like to see a Luke somewhere I'd probably like a passive Luke here. No
Yeah.
reason for Luke not to attack Boba Fett, I think. Yeah, and that's Tom agrees.
There you go.
I think, do we still have the city outskirts pull for a Jedi? Have we seen that happen yet?
That might be how he got Obi-Wan originally.
It could be. Hold on, I gotta let my dog aside.
Ginger, come. Ginger, come. Hey, Ginger, come on. Ginger, come.
I don't know if anyone else is embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed for Tom having to listen to this. I think in general, the way people talk to pets is just embarrassing. I think pets are embarrassing, and I'm not really a pet guy, and I get a lot of shit for that. I don't dislike animals, but I just don't really understand the relationship between humans and pets.
Every time
don't
I feel like
appreciate-
you're rewarding bad behavior.
Don't appreciate the behavior. Or the relationship, rather. He said behavior. Man, I could easily get hypnotized today, the way things are just like entering my brain. That's the second time he's put a word in my mouth. So we see Obi-Wan go to the farm. So the hunt down objective is going to stay flipped this turn. And Luke's in a really good spot with Savrip out. Even if he draws low, there's really no way to get Luke off the table here.
Yeah, that's a good point. So is the battle in progress right now?
No, we're just seeing what's read search for something, but I'm not sure what.
Okay.
Is your dog's name Ginger?
That is Ginger, yeah.
Ginger like the Vitus, or Ginger like the Root,
Like the root.
or like the movie star stuck on an island?
The root.
Gotcha. I was hoping it was the Vitus, but
Yeah,
Alright, so
those aren't homonyms to anyone not from Massachusetts. Or Rhode Island.
okay. Boba Fett hit
And
Destiny 5.
yeah, so 14 to 17, so Tom down 3. Which
Yep.
he'll easily have covered with probably a Savrip card.
Yeah. One thing that I think if I were playing this deck, it would be hard for me to like just pitch a Jedi Luke when it's only 3, like we saw him do earlier. But with 7 Jedi Lukes and Retrieval from Celebration, you just have to look at that as like, X. Whatever the damage is, just pitch the Luke.
Yeah.
Because even like if I wanted to pitch Leanna Marion, she has effect later in the game, whereas Infinite Lukes.
Ooh,
all
he's
the
just
same.
peeling the 3. He doesn't have that many cards, Tom, I don't think, in his life force. Or his hand
Yeah,
also
or
looks
his
pretty
hand,
small.
yeah.
And he's keeping Lando. It looked like he had no active force, so I guess he had to use all of his force to do this, so Lando stays in front of Vader.
But again,
This-
with Savrip, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe he only has a Jedi Luke in hand, and he wants the Savrip for this Lando battle.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the Hoojiks in hand. We have seen that.
You want some more milk?
But, oh, and Obi-Wan to the farm. I missed that.
Oh, I mentioned it to you when you came back, and
Oh.
I mentioned it to the stream. So try and pay closer attention if we're going to do this, okay?
So that makes it pretty much he's saying that we don't actually have any good. I'm guessing they're probably about equivalent in life force here, just based on the game state. But Tom had fewer cards than I would have expected given the trajectory this game has gone. So we'll have to see.
It'll get used.
But I mean, Tom, of course, in a much better board position at the moment. We'll see what Reed can do. But pretty much all of Reed's plays, like Maul goes anywhere and Maul dies, and he doesn't really take that much with him. And then Tom still has board and celebration going on.
Yeah, I think the main thing here is for Reed is going to be differential. Like how low can I make this battle go?
Yeah, he might just want to.
It's going to be like a fine balance between losing the game and like in that position where he's done the most damage, so he just doesn't get the whole deck. Not the whole deck, but like, limits the retrieval from celebration here.
Yeah, that is the thing, because at some point maybe you decide, wait, he's retrieving more than I'm damaging, and like you just kind of halt your progress.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just draw from a position where you might continue the game more in other situations.
Yeah, but you acknowledge you've done the most damage that you can possibly do.
Right.
Yeah, the more and more I think about it, this deck from Hade seems like a great call.
Yeah.
Right down to converting your opponent's audience chamber against all the scum decks, and then playing aliens from your deck with You Will Take Me to Jabba Now. And then just being resilient versus mains despite not any battle tricks. Like, you're really just weak to lightsabers. That's why I'd love to see some deflections.
Yeah, a bunch of guys. And the thing is that you're not super, because in addition to being a 9 forfeit guy, if Luke dies, you just don't really care, because you can just play your other Lukes.
Yeah, it's just 6 force every turn is a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if he got those 7 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights together all himself. Like, do you think he owns 7 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights? Or was there some Chris Kelly involvement? I'm guessing, knowing Tom Hade, he owns 7 Luke Skywalker Jedi Knights.
The shirt is on.
You don't even necessarily need 7 Jedi Lukes here either. You could play it with less and still have an effective deck. Like, he's only got 1 Qui-Gon, only 1 EPP Obi-Wan, 1 regular Obi-Wan.
Fewer.
Good God. Didn't we talk about this yesterday?
I just like that because it's a Stannis moment. I feel like Stannis was perfectly captured by the actor.
The less fewer thing is something I don't know. I guess as an English teacher, I should care more about that, but it's just annoying, I find. It's just such an insignificant difference. Yeah, if you want to tilt me, keep doing it. For sure. It's such an insignificant difference in my opinion.
Right. Can and May, I feel the same way about.
Yeah, I guess there's like an actual colloquial reasoning to like defend Can versus May.
Oh, so you're the opposite position here, because I care more about that than I do about the less fewer.
I used to until I sort of heard the argument that, it's a weak argument, but English has evolved, or I'm sure some people would say devolved, to have these colloquial things that, like, forcing me to ask permission to do something like, may I use the bathroom, is like ridiculously pretentious to begin with.
Yeah.
And you know what I meant, so you're just being doubly pretentious.
That's the main thing, is that language, the objective is to communicate intent. And in both cases, we've successfully communicated intent, so being nitpicky beyond that is just pettiness with no actual increase in clarity.
Right. Yeah. And, like, for someone to ask to go to the bathroom, like, I guess it comes up for me because I'm a teacher, but when someone says, can I go to the bathroom, like, yeah, you don't need my permission. Just thank you for letting me know.
Oh, sure you can. No, I also, like, even at the most pedantic sense, I can't until you give me permission. Hold on.
We have action here. Maul just battled, swung, hit Ray. More than hit Ray. Destiny in these decks is gross.
Oh, well, as you say that, we got for the battle Destiny.
Drew the 1, no Sith Fury.
So that's 9. So it doesn't even need anything in addition. Just Ray dies, Maul dies, and that's it. That's not the result Reed was hoping for.
No. he wanted to have him have to set, and like I can't tell how many cards are in Tom's hand, but we already know that it was low.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe 3. 2.
Yeah.
So Lando
Hit, lose a force.
that's for the effect. Lando probably doesn't have much hope excluding Maul or excluding Vader, but I guess it makes sense to try unless he was hoping to draw.
There's really no reason not to try.
Well, maybe unless he has a 6-track to break Vader's immunity.
Or his deck has like 12 6s in it, so you don't even need a 6-track.
Yeah,
you just have to like kind of cross your fingers.
Right.
Which Tom Haid likes to do. We saw him cross all his fingers yesterday.
But I feel like you but you still go for it. Just you don't decline to try to exclude just for hoping to draw 6. But no, it looks like that was the exclude draw, I think. So Vader not excluded.
Not Vader excluded.
Vader not excluded. Vader included.
Vader included.
And I didn't see what Reed's destiny was there.
I think it was red, so I think we can assume it was a 4 or 5.
So yeah, it looks like Tom just peeled 1 in Lando. Now Vader moves to the farm. Alright, I think Tom just activated 11, looks like. So actually he's got more life force than I thought. So he's got maybe 16, 17 life force. One, 2, 3. So Tom scheduling 6 damage here. That's a pretty good turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus retrieving 2.
Plus
2 low destinies, but
he'll take it. Just no clue what Reed's life force count is. And the loss pile is pretty big, but Tom has more stuff on table for sure.
Mm-hmm. Might see the Walkling retrieval sometime soon. I think he didn't have any force saved, right?
Yeah. No, but it does make sense.
Otherwise,
his constraint here is probably life force more than force activation. So that's the time that you want Walkling to, Walkling's force generation bonuses cease to be useful. So let's kick in the retrieval. That's usually when I try to time it.
If he had a force, I think that given this deck's construction, what you want to do is use that Walkling to retrieve, and then you will take me to Jabba now to do something like redeploy that Lando, right? Obviously, he has to have the cover.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm just looking for opportunities where the synergy of this deck increases,
No,
or at least reveals itself to the Jedi.
All right, so we got the 2 Tatooine Celebration retrieval.
Can't really tell what's in his hand, but it looks like one character and one.
He had Hoojix in his hand at one point. I'm sure. The thumb was
that
out.
Looks like EPP Qui-Gon to me.
Maybe. Well, let's see. It looks like it's about to come out. Do you go for it with EPP Qui-Gon here? No.
No, because he's only got 3 cards in reserve deck. So, adding EPP Qui-Gon to the battle doesn't help.
Yeah, that was not.
Let's just move and retrieve. There's no reason to do anything other than that right now.
I agree. Wait, no way.
What? What happened?
Tom Haid has not been draining -1 at Tatooine this whole time?
No, does the OA prevent him from playing Qui-Gon? Yep. You can't play Qui-Gon in that deck.
Oh, okay. That's that other text.
Yeah, that's just a huge mistake. What does that text say? Can he not play Ahsoka either? What? No, he can play Ahsoka, right? Do you have it up?
Yeah, I'm calling it up right now. For remainder of game, you may not deploy Sand Roll or Episode 1 Jedi. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's well, good thing that was caught right away. Was that his only? But Ahsoka is not a Jedi, so he's fine.
Ahsoka's not a Jedi, no.
Well, Qui-Gon is still forfeit 8 for Sabrip, so It's not. It could be a more dead card. So at least Tom has a use for Qui-Gon in his deck. So
Yep, true. And this this just goes to show, like, Habe definitely has a creative mind, but this deck was made last night.
yeah, they were not testing games with this for sure.
No, he built this last night or possibly this morning after dreaming about it.
That seems like a fair.
But it's really easy to just make that another Ahsoka, right? Or another Obi-Wan.
Yeah, or another Luke.
So that's really a bummer for, like, I really liked where Hade was going into that turn, like knowing he had a character, being able to spread out to the 3 sites, knowing that he was going to be able to drain for 1 and retrieve 2 no matter what next turn.
Right. I still like where he is though, but of course it's just not quite as good.
I think he was going to be in a very strong position if he could have gone to a 3rd site. A very strong position. All right, so we get it could be worse on the drain, which is great, but still a card ungrabbed. So.
Yep. No, it's worse, which we have the ultimatum out, so it's worse.
Brian Fred would have had the it's worse.
Yes, he would have had 2 of them just waiting for this moment. I mean, that's the tech play, is that they could be worse. It's worse it, and then it's a hit, and then it's worse again.
Yeah, or you just have the ultimatum and it's perfect protection.
So some low destinies in reserve. If he's trying to hit Luke or something, he won't be able to.
If you just tried to flush a diaper.
What?
If you just tried to flush a diaper. I asked her to throw it away for me, and she threw it in the...
Solid strategy. Maybe.
Hey, mind of a 2.5-year-old.
We're not sure. We're not sure that's the optimal line, but what do you think was going through her head? Oh, so ball, not battle.
I think she just thought of flushing is going away. Fine, but it's not as bad as playing Qui-Gon in your OA deck. So
agreed. I mean, this is Diplo, but Qui-Gon also cannot go into OA.
Oh, Diplo, yeah. I know. I was just, I was saying OA before too.
There goes the Walkling, retrieving Luke.
Yep, and he used the might to get Leanna Marin.
Oh, is this just recycling cards? He might be thinking this is like the last turn sequence here.
Yeah, this could be a suicide battle for Maul.
No, because Vader already moved. So,
oh, I see. Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is like, how is Reed planning?
Just getting high destiny in his deck, get his reserve deck up.
Yeah, maybe he's now going to try to beat down Maul here.
Well,
without Qui-Gon.
It looks like I can't tell who that 3rd character is in his hand.
I see Hera and.
Okay, it's Hera.
It looks
Leanna
like
Marin
Lando to me. Oh, Leanna Marin, of course.
Yeah, he searched for Leanna with might.
Right.
I guess might's another way to get some retrieval, right? It doesn't have to be at the Senate, or does it?
No, they do have to be at the Senate.
Okay, so no. But if anyone plays Dark Senate, this deck's got some legs.
That's true. If Dark Senate doesn't just immediately kill Tantive.
True.
Which Dengar and Punishing 1, or Punishing 1V is no longer a card, which I'm kind of sad about because I like that one.
The Punishing 1, or the Jumpmaster 5000, is the strongest ship in the X-Wing miniatures game, by far.
Oh.
To the point it's like broken and people want it nerfed or banned.
I've heard of Punishing 1, but I don't know the other one.
Well, the Jumpmaster is the Punishing 1's like ship type, like the Falcon YT 1300.
Yeah.
And then in that game, you can play Dengar, and you can play it as the Punishing 1, but that costs more points, or you can just have random pilots in a Jumpmaster.
Okay, so Tom looks like he's not going to battle because he just activated everything. So maybe he was trying to set up the beats, and it looked like he could have actually gotten a pretty good beat on either Maul.
Yeah, especially since we saw that low destiny, so it was unlikely that.
Yeah. Well, he
Luca's gonna get
probably.
hit.
I mean, the low destiny is going off the top here,
Yeah.
but I guess maybe just play it safe.
Yeah, I guess there's just no reason to
Just yeah, if you extend the game, you get more retrieval with the celebration. You've got the Qui-Gon in hand. That's useless still, so maybe just keep your 2 guys in front.
Yeah, I mean, he could even go Hera Leanna to the other 2 sites.
Yeah.
And force Reed to draw up. Yeah,
so Hera and Leanna to one site. Just taking a little bit less risk.
Yeah, well, he's going to move Luke over, so it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah.
The other option would be to play Leanna to the Holo Theater and move Leia to the Meditation Chamber.
That's a few cards that he just drew.
Yeah, I'm curious as to that as well.
I think some of them were used interrupts, so he's okay.
Also, he's taking 2 here no matter what, so.
Yeah. So he's got 2 expendable cards and then used interrupts probably.
And he might just want to keep playing it safe by having something to Savrik with.
And that front card in his hand is definitely Hoojix. So.
Yep. I would have went all out on spreading. I would have just put Leanna to the Meditation Chamber.
Yeah, I think that makes. Oh, do we have a draw up from? No. Reed's just thinking, I think. Of course, he'd do the drains first, and we'd see some interrupts paid before the draw up happens. But this feels like a draw up turn to me.
Yeah, and like I said, if he had spread even more, I think it would have been a real. It would have just forced the draw up no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, and if Reed doesn't draw up, then you're kind of happy about that because if you incentivize him to go for you, you might even be happy about that because he might just try
That's true.
You're okay. You might be thinking, what if he doesn't have a Hoojix? So Tom Hayden in the position where he's okay losing used interrupts to these Force Drains, so I think probably all of these hand cards are able to get back to the Life Force in some way or another.
Well, we know one's the Qui-Gon, so...
Yeah, that is kind of strange. Reed must have saved something in reserve. Yeah, and I guess if Reed saves something in reserve, if you don't need to do it that turn. So there's at least 3 in reserve because there's the hit on Obi-Wan. The battle was at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So he force fields
and grabs.
Which is yes, indeed. Did he finally take that last card off Justice?
Yep, he just did. He just took the hallway.
Yep, as we expected, that's the last card to go.
And then he flips Mirax for Destiny, so... Not optimal. Looks like we're going to see the Qui-Gon pitched here.
Yeah, what was Reed's Destiny?
I didn't see him flip.
Okay.
But yeah, there's the Qui-Gon for Savrik.
Yep.
Good tech. 8 forfeit.
It's strictly worse than Luke Jedi Knight in that, but...
Yeah, I mean... in a million ways.
Yep.
Yeah, so...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, Reed blocking all his drains except for the Tatooine drain, so... really not doing any damage here. I don't know, like, I'd be very interested to see what Reed has for a life, but...
Yeah.
It's possible that on a long enough timeline, he can... Nah, because he can just always run away, so...
Yeah, I mean, he's getting the retrieval that's... But yeah, Tom's reluctance to battle here.
I guess I'm just not sure what Reed is trying to prolong the game for.
Well, he's at this point doing more damage by a little bit than Tom is retrieving.
Is this game untimed?
Usually it's an hour 15 for these kind of games. So slightly for match play.
All right, so we have Lando to the Hollow Theater. So Tarkin's about to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't know when we actually started playing. I'm trying to see. Not hearing it on Twitch. So it's probably pretty close to time because 10:47 was when.
Is anyone watching on Twitch? Like, can you see how many viewers or if there's
Yeah, we've
any
got
chatting?
looks like 15 viewers.
Any chats?
Some chats. Let's take a look. Oh, we've got some results. Chris Kelly wins game 1 of Court versus Throne Remain by 33.
Good
Oh,
God, that's a
Lenny-
beatdown on turn 2.
yeah, it must have been. Lenny concedes the second game, so Chris Kelly moves on. Greg Shaw wins game 1 of Jakumins versus Coruscant CRV by 25. Greg Shaw was playing Matt Crowley, I think.
Mm-hmm. Shaw won.
Shaw won by 25. Yep. At some point, when 24 minutes left in the round, we had Reed with 16 in deck and force pile with 8 in hand. Tom having 17 in reserve and force pile and 3 in hand. But that was a while ago, I think.
Mm.
I'm guessing there's probably about maybe 10 minutes left, or 5 to 10 minutes left in the round, would be my guess. Anyway, what did I miss as I came out for anything?
What did you miss when?
Wait, Leia cleared Tarkin and lived?
Lando came down.
Lando came down. Okay.
But it looked like he drew 2 destinies. Does that Leia add a destiny or anything?
Leia adds a destiny to power or attrition when with an Imperial leader.
Oh, okay. So that's what happened.
Yeah. The thing is, you kind of want to battle with Luke, but at the same time you don't.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get flipped back. I wonder if it's ever right to have kept Lando alive instead of Leia.
Really like. If it's what?
If it's ever right to have kept Lando alive instead of Leia.
Oh.
So that you don't, if you get flipped back, you can still drain there. But Leia not drawing on her own, or Lando not drawing on his own on the deck here is kind of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Reed's hand size is, but
I just think this deck would be a lot stronger if it had a couple deflections, or just any battle trick.
dodge.
Maybe.
Yeah, dodge to me is the.
Also, no
better.
sorry about the Mess Blaster proficiency. So
Yeah.
and no Corrin. Just nothing for spies.
Indeed, yeah, nothing for spies. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I would like just maybe one deflection, one sorry about the Mess. Maybe not Mirax. Like.
Yeah.
I get
could
that the
see
Mirax.
why he does Mirax, because he doesn't
Yeah, he
have
wants
the
to
3 PF, and he wants to cycle his interrupts. But,
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I don't think it's.
yeah,
He's been fine this game without it, right?
I mean, that's why I love playing Watch Your Step, is because it's like every battle interrupt. you have just access to all of them.
Right, and but he doesn't have battle interrupts. It doesn't. It's not like moving him.
So, Tom top decking all 3 at the flip thing. Hey, Ginger, out of the way. Come on. That's not what I meant. Well, it worked, but you're not supposed to align like that. Okay, swing hits of Hera, looks like. And Ahsoka, which can be can't redraw off Ahsoka.
Battle at the Moisture. I have to assume he has a 6-track here.
I mean, those are 2 1s for Tom Hates Destiny there, so
Yeah.
that's pretty bad. We just profitably battled.
Yeah, it seems
They both
like
die, and
Hade's
it's kind of puttering out
control
here.
of this game is completely slipped away.
He might have been counting the chicken, and I think we were doing this too because we don't really know what Reed's life force is.
Right.
But this might have been a symptom of, okay, I've got this game, I don't want to draw too many cards so that I can win by more. And now he doesn't have anything in hand for the last few turns to compete with the board, and Reed didn't follow that same line, and all of a sudden, yeah, Hujix is the one card in Tom Hayes' hand right now.
Right.
But I don't know how large Reed's hand is. Like, is it feasible to shuttle down Bale, for instance? I mean, also, how different would this game be if that Qui-Gon was a deployable character instead?
Yep, absolutely.
So we've got the drain, I think it's, drain 3 and 1, so I mean, he's doing a lot of damage. Or does Bale only work at Battlegrounds? Let's look up Bale.
Yeah, I'm not
Because it
sure.
looked like that was only 2 and 1. 4 strains at Battlegrounds. So yeah, it's just a drain of 2 at the Hall Theater, not a drain of 3. Yeah, guys, the volume level, we're not sure. It was higher yesterday, I think. I think it has to do with the computer because we're not changing the volume that we're talking at or anything. So, yeah, I would, we'll try to tell them. Well, actually, let's try texting them now. Because we hear each other just fine in terms of volumes. Wait, did we freeze? No, never mind. It's just no one moving for a second. So what's going on here? So anyway, I have reported to Rob that the volume situation, so hopefully he'll turn it up if you can hear me. Some kind of rules question going on or something, I'm guessing? Hold on. What's going on here? You want me to grab that? Okay. Okay. Alright, looks like Tom Hayes is he counting? Is that the game? Wait, so what just happened?
Maybe it went to time.
Maybe it did go to time.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna split. Text me when the finals are about to start.
Okay. Alright.
Okay. Later on.
Later. Alright, well, we'll try to find out what happened there in terms of, I'm assuming Tom won, but the differential and stuff like that. And let's see, we've got Tom wins by 5. That's it? Wow. I was really expecting a larger victory there. Wow. So Reed had a deceptively large amount of cards in his deck, which makes it really suspect to me that Tom probably should have been maintaining a larger hand, I think. But what happened that last turn? Shouldn't Tom have been able to take that last... Why didn't he take a turn? Shouldn't he have had, like, retrieval and stuff? Or maybe he did? Or I'm not sure. All right, anyway. That's game one. We've got... yeah, it looks like he... we saw on Skype that he did up the volume. So it's actually just me at the moment. So what's up, Casey? You doing anything right now, Casey? Yeah. Yeah. What's give me a PM or a text about your Skype. And hold on, I can just text you. I've also sent a message to Zimowit, see if we can get in. Text will be posted there. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think it was just I saw him do something. He just needed to change something in the OBS settings for the audio. So that's probably the difference. So the yeah, sorry, I see. Oh, that was a comment from 1136. So let's scroll up and read some of the Twitch chat to see what people have been saying. I just kind of read some of it. Backhanded compliment. Yeah, that. What did we end up saying it was? It wasn't backhanded compliment, but that's probably the more traditional. The more traditional name for it. All right, so I'm so confused about how to. Wait, so I don't want that. No, I don't want to answer to. Okay, now that I have him, can I? Wait, can I add him to my contacts? Wait, add to list. Is that what I need to do? Wait, no. How do I? Okay, I think invite to group call. Hey, you there? Add to list. Is that what I need to do? Casey?
Can you hear me?
Yes. But turn off the Twitch stream because they also hear the echo.
Okay, 1 sec.
Or mute it at least.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mute it. I have it on my TV.
Perfect.
All right. That better?
Yeah, you sound good. All right, so you should be able to like see the. It's right now just a blank screen.
Yep,
on
I've got
Skype.
it.
So yeah, that's just what we're using to cast off of. And we shouldn't have a delay because we're seeing it as the same time that the feed is going out. And then the Twitch stream is, the 10-second delay or something.
Yes, looks good to me.
All right. So, how you doing?
I'm good. I just got back from softball, had some brunch, having a good morning. How about you?
Excellent. Good morning as well. Just, doing this. When you got that first game, we didn't really have any idea how close it was. I don't know if you guys in the chat also thought, but it looked to us that Tom Haid was much more in control than it turned out he was.
I couldn't see Reed's life force. Where are you in relation to the game room? Or are you just outside the room?
I am, let's see, 1, 2, is it only 3? Yeah, 3 states away. So.
Oh, so you're also remote. I thought we had people on site.
No, all remote. Yeah, Mike Mike had to be called away. Actually, I guess him and Justin, their kids are getting together. So he's out for about a match, and then he'll be back.
Okay, excellent. All right, I thought the child was in the game room.
No,
right.
That would be interesting. But no, that was the home situation.
Excellent.
Yeah, they did at one point. They were offering to fly us out, and we said, well, that's, quite the use of the money for what's pretty similar in terms of production quality. There are things that it would be nice to have someone there there should be somebody free right now that didn't make top 8 that, take some videos, be spotter, stuff like that.
Yeah, Gogolin or somebody, although I guess people are playing in the Constellation.
Yeah, but in terms of flight and hotel stay, that's at least $1,000 each. So if we can save the PC that money and get pretty close to the product, that's what we ended up going with.
I was disappointed that I couldn't make it out to this event. I was going to go and carpool with some of the Jersey guys, and then I had to attend a work training all of last week, and it ran through late Friday and ended up not being able to make it out. But I had started testing for this event, and now it'll be nice to see if I had anticipated anything correctly meta-wise.
Oh, wow, that sucks. So you were planning on going up until
Up until about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't you were planning on going until 2 o'clock on Friday, and then it just kept on.
No, they didn't. Okay. They didn't just blindside me with a last-minute training.
Yeah, that would have been okay. But so what would you have been bringing had you made it?
I was testing a lot with the Throne Room deck that Matt Sokol had played at Endor. Mm-hmm. And I was testing with that, and I was testing with the Light Senate deck that I had used to make Day 3 of Worlds last year for Light.
Right.
Also looking at Diplo a little bit. And I had been going back and forth between the Jakku deck, which I knew was popular yesterday, versus regular Throne Room. And I like the ability for Lightside to go first in that game.
I agree with that, too. I feel just Throne Room makes much more sense to me than the Jakku deck. But we did see 3 or 4, I think, Jakku mains yesterday. So it seems that the player base as a whole may be thinking otherwise.
And then sorry, go ahead.
Meanwhile, it seems like we've got the game 2 about to begin. We've got a text with the deck list here. Let's see if I can forward text or... No, I'll be the keeper of the deck list.
Yeah, just let us know what the matchup is.
So looking at Reed's light side, looks like Throne Room, indeed. He's got the Insurrection, like my father before me start. Let's just see anything interesting or unusual. It's looking pretty much standard. Some bunch of EPPs and mains. He's got Captain Yutani with Blastogram, which I'm not sure whether or not that's standard in Throne Room.
Looks like he's starting like my father before me, and then I can't exactly. It's Walkling, and I can't exactly make out what the third effect is.
That's Insurrection combo.
Insurrection
so he's
aim
doing
high.
the Dock and Bay package. Yeah.
Okay.
2 Luke's lightsabers. Where I see Booster and Pulsar Skate as a ship. I'm trying to look for other ships.
Knowing Reed, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the only ship in the
That
list.
might be the only ship in the list, indeed. Yeah, that does surprise me.
He's a big fan of the docking bay style throne room. He's a big fan of just the Booster and Pulsar Skate. He's done that before.
Meanwhile, we've got Tom Hade on entanglements. He's using according to my design for this matchup, so he gets Emperor starting at the docking bay with mobilization points. It's very powerful.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why I like to that's one reason not to play Throne Room is the Emperor start. I think if according to my design was not a card, probably no one would play Jakku mains.
How popular has that card been this weekend? Do we know?
You know, and this is our first time we've seen Throne Room, so it's hard to see. Like, it might have been a tech choice, but we saw a lot of Court, and of course Court can't start the Emperor. So there's one match where Throne Room should shine.
Right. It
Although
seems
two
like it
times
only
we-
seems like it only sees play in entanglements and Endor operations for the most part.
That could, I mean, those are decks that have, I mean, entanglements I think can make use of the Emperor start like no other deck because it already has space and mobilization points. Oh,
Yes.
something went wrong there. Hopefully, they figured it out.
There we go.
Just looking through. Okay, already seeing interest. So Commander Nemeth in Tom Hade's list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 commands. He does play 2 dominations. 2 copies of Tarkin's Order. But it looks mostly standard. He's got actually more. He's got Stalker and Flagship Executive. Those probably card slots aren't doing that much to him. But for the most part, it's pretty close to standard. He's got a few other unusual-ish card choices, but nothing that really changes the build too much. It looks like he's not running the Biker Scout package, but is running 2 copies of Sense, which is interesting and might be a little bit of a blindside.
Pairs well with the Emperor start.
Definitely does.
If you can sense that turn one Wisa or Speak, that's a huge advantage to the entanglements player.
Oh, absolutely. And we probably won't see a preemptive sack shield because people don't generally anticipate Sense in entanglements. It's good to run Sense in decks where they don't see it coming. So I'm having difficulty seeing what those 3 admirals were. Was that Thrawn?
Well, that was we just saw Speak from Reed and no Sense, so
Yeah, so he probably doesn't have it. Otherwise, he would have pulled it. Or
he had at
otherwise
least
he
one
would have-
docking bay in hand. He's got 2 of them out now. He's got the home 1 docking bay, the Hoth docking bay, and the Jedi Council chamber. So Reed looking at
Whoa.
activating. Oh,
Is Reed pulling Yoda just to the Jedi Council chamber turn
looks
1?
like it. People forget that you can do that. The Jedi Council chamber allows you to pull Yoda from reserve deck every turn, and people use that in the late game as an easy way to search their deck, especially once Luke's lightsaber has hit the table.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you usually do it in the late game because you know Yoda isn't there, and you don't want Yoda at the Jedi Council chamber. But interesting decision that he just decides. Maybe he's just saying, okay, that 1 icon in 4 turns will pay for itself, and then I'm going to start getting profit on it.
it's possible, but it's not like Entanglements is a deck that's going to choke you for force.
That's also
Especially
true.
with all the activation that Reed's already pulled out. He seems to be in very good shape. I mean, if you look
Yeah.
at it now, he's looking to activate 6, 8, 10 plus whatever locations Tom pulls out on his turn. So at
Mhm.
least 10 force on what's if you count this as turn 0, then on turn 1.
Yeah, and
Yoda's an immunity main, and those are very, very good on Tatooine in this matchup. So sacrificing 1.
well, the thing is
to-
that Yoda can't deploy at Tatooine, so that might be part of the consideration.
Oh, which one is that? Reflections 3?
Yeah, so that one can only go to Tatooine or Naboo.
Right.
And maybe he's thinking, I'm never going to play the battle plans. But it seems like I would have wanted to just draw. But perhaps Reed looked at his force pile and said, this is all garbage. This is the best use of the force that I'm going to get this turn.
It's a tough thing for us to evaluate as commentators when we don't have all of that information and know what's in Reed's force pile, because when he looks through his deck for the first time, that's really what's going to shape his turn, and that's going to let him decide which line of play to take. And obviously, it's not something that we can judge from the booth.
Yeah, it's a non-standard play, but there are very likely to have been reasons for it. Reed Smith, not a player to do something by accident like that. So whatever the reasons are, he's thought them through.
Tom Hade's going to go for Mos Espa here. He's also going to be able to get a docking bay if he wants it.
Well, he's got the Executor docking bay. It's hiding by the JCC, so he's already pulled his docking bay.
I see it. Yes.
The Executor docking bay, of course, being the ideal turn 1 pull and extremely important to the deck. In fact, I've at times when playing Imperial Entanglement myself, sometimes I've missed the Executor docking bay, and it's so crucial that you force push for it that first turn. So that's the ideal start, and we'll probably see Piet there.
For people that maybe aren't as familiar with entanglements, why don't you talk about what makes the Executor docking bay so good? Because it is a 1-0 docking bay, which is nice, but that's not the whole picture.
Right. So some of the things you like, it just really synergizes well with the whole package, because you start Endor Shield to pull Admiral Piet. And then Admiral Piet has text that allows him to deploy -2 to the Executor, and that counts the Executor's sights, not just the ship itself. So you get him there quickly, which is very nice because Piet has the text that lets you get an Admiral's Order or a Commander. Generally, you want the Admiral's Order, and the Admiral's Orders the deck runs are We're in attack position now or Battle Deployment, both of which really accelerate your game plans. So it's just a kind of having that sight lets you get Piet quicker, which lets you get everything quicker. It just starts the whole ball rolling. And in addition to that, on top of everything else, you have mobilization points, which lets you generate +2 force at docking bays you control. So it's just a massive, massive activation advantage to have that going on. And we actually see Tom Hade being able to take advantage of that turn 1, because he is able to start Emperor at the Tatooine docking bay, usually not the site that entanglements will start. But when you're already able to get a character there, he got the +2 bonus from that. So it's possible we might look at mobilization points being a +4 this coming turn. Depends on how greedy Tom Hade is and how Reed is able to respond. But we saw also go to the Devastator for just a second and then come back to the Grip. Ozzel to the Devastator is very standard. I would be surprised if Ozzel doesn't end up there. Ozzel just being great pretty much exclusively because he's a 0 deploy free character. Interesting hand. Looks like a really good hand from Tom Hade here, I have to say. Mm-hmm. Just chock full of tons of characters. He's got the I Can't Shake Him to pull an Imperial from his deck onto the ship, whoever he decides is most useful for this situation.
Do you have any walkers in hand?
No walkers in hand, so that might... In the throne room match, I'm usually more inclined to get battle deployment than we're in attack position now. What? This seems like you slammed that Piet here. I'm kind of wondering what Tom is hesitating about. This to me seems like an easy slam the Piet, pull battle deployment.
He's going to shuttle up the Emperor.
Whoa. This is a scaredy cat play if I've ever seen one. I'm not so sure I like this.
Well, with all the force that Reed's activating and choosing not to draw last turn, that's sending a strong signal to Tom that he has something in hand that he thinks can be pretty powerful, and whether it's in space or on the ground, Tom just choosing to consolidate. Reed's activating a ton of force, and Tom's going to go for the slow game. He's going to respect that.
I mean, yeah, I do understand. I would have the line that I'd have liked to see would have been Piet to the Executor docking bay, use him to pull battle deployment, which we did see in reserve. That Admiral's Order lets you pull a combat vehicle once per turn from reserve deck. Get a combat vehicle, probably an ATSD of some kind, and move Piet over and maybe even deploy another character. So leave the Executor docking bay empty because you're kind of afraid of maybe a spy coming there or just Emperor being alone. And then you've got a really solid docking bay there that they're going to have a hard time contesting you at, with Emperor being the character outside in the vehicle and them only getting one destiny.
You've got the deck list. Does Reed have any under attacks in his list?
I did not see an under attack on the first scan through, but we'll take a look specifically for that.
Tom's going to get a verify here. So Tom will have some better idea of what Reed's working with.
Reed was probably using Insurrection or something. So we see the Chewie with the Bowcaster, who's good against vehicles, of course. We have one escape pod combo only. So that escape pod combo, of course, being good for reducing occupation damage for one turn. That's
no celebrations.
Premier grab target. No celebrations. And no under attacks. So I think this version of Entanglements is set up pretty well to deal with Throne Room, because Throne Room having a difficult time just dealing with the walkers. Oh, so Reed just saving everything. I mean, he recognized Tom was playing slow, playing scared, not getting any mobilization back or mobilization points activation. So why not just consolidate that activation disparity? If he was scared last turn, he's going to be even more scared this turn with Reed saving like 10 force or however much. So I think that's a smart play from Reed. The importance of saving force to threaten the next turn is very underrated, I think.
Tartak poses the question in the chat about whether or not Reed's bluffing, and I wonder if we can get a spotter on Reed's hand if Robbie or somebody is there. Because we get to see what's in Tom's hand for most of the game, but we really don't have any idea with Reed.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, the difficulty will be even getting the spotter to be able to see Reed's hand. If there's one player you might think would not be cooperative to that.
Fair enough.
But it doesn't hurt to ask.
There's Piet. Going straight to the Devastator.
Whoa! So that signals that he's just not willing to come down to the ground this turn either.
And he's going to get attack position over battle deployment.
I mean, this makes sense given the line that he's played, because he's now indicating that he wants to put a lot of guys up to the system and
Thrawn and Mahdi as well.
Yeah, so I think I've also seen Dasan in the hand, so he's getting these guys at a pretty significant discount, because eventually they're all going to be able to shuttle down free. Wait, did I see Dasan in hand?
I think I see another Mahdi.
I think that's a general tag, actually. Did I see the general? That looks like general tag to me.
They're all sitting around the same table.
That's true. That's a Commander Nemeth, I think. No, that's the general. That's General Nevar. So you think General Nevar gets a peek at one card in the opponent's hand?
We can take a look. He changed after the
reset. Yeah, that's why I'm not entirely confident.
When deployed, may peek at top card of any reserve deck. When a spy here is targeted by trample, adds one to your destiny draw. He is a leader and an ISB agent.
I can't imagine running 2 times Mahdi, so let's figure out who that other Imperial is in Tom's hand. I think it looked like tag, which is strange, but let's see. Wait.
Do we have the feature where we can change the displayed card on the screen, or is that something that can only be done on site?
I don't think we have that power. I think we're just kind of at the mercy of what the Skype feed is.
We're going to look at Shizor for the rest of the
Audio
game.
only. Yeah. Shizor's bounty was, I think, Chris Gogolin put that up in my match against Matt Sokol because that was he was playing it
At Endor.
at Endor,
And it's still up there.
It's still up there. Yeah.
All right, here's some action from Reed finally. He's going to fish the Boss Nass Chambers out of his deck and then come down with Luke, Jedi Knight, and his lightsaber down to Mos Espa.
Yep, making the first move, and I did look through the deck. There is indeed a general tag in Tom Hade's list. So Reed backing up and control tunnel visioning before that play. So, I mean, the thing is that there is value in being the second person to go to Tatooine, because now Luke, if Luke does indeed go...
Is he walking that play back?
He walked it back
is...
in order to tunnel vision first.
Okay.
And now Tom lets him do that. So I have to imagine that General Veers is in Tom's hand, because he did like a couple Imperial commands, and if he doesn't grab General Veers' Imperial command, what is he doing?
He also has battle deployment in his hand if he wants to fish for a walker and then play Veers.
Right, and Blizzard too. So he has the option to attack Luke here. Of course, attacking Luke with General Veers is a little bit dicey because he only needs the 5 to crack the immunity of the Walker Veers on, so you probably want to add an Imperial or 2 on board the vehicle just to soak up the attrition if Reed draws high.
Well, I think we may have found use for General Tag.
That's true, but General Tag has a forfeit bonus +1 with each Imperial trooper present with him at the site.
What's his ability?
Ability 3, forfeit 4.
So he doesn't get the bonus from arrest order.
It's possible that Tom... Wait, are we seeing a non-shield? Do they have a code clearance in this deck? Because that would make things make a lot more sense if we see that. Let's take a look again. Oh, wait.
What we are seeing is Anakin and Rey, in addition to Luke, so Reed spreading out. And now Wisa got a Grand Army. Did Reed already play a Wisa this turn? For the battle planes? For the Boss Nass Chamber, rather?
Oh.
Or was that in his hand?
I was looking at a deck list when that happened, but you said he fished it out.
Well, he deployed it, and I'm not sure where it came from, and it's possible he Wisa'd at the end of Tom's turn, and then now Wisa'd again on his turn.
That could be. I'm just looking through Tom's list, and I don't see a code clearance.
There's an old-school Throne Remains play with Philo Gandish hanging out with Anakin.
That makes these 4 strings pretty threatening, and I worry if Tom has just given Reed too much time here. But Tom, of course, having good counterattacks here, but not likely at all 3 places at once. Tom having a lot of characters on table, but right now all of them to Devastator. He's going to want to be shuttling them. Basically, they're not there at the Devastator because he's afraid the Devastator is going to be attacked. They're there because he's afraid other characters are going to be attacked, and they're hiding on board the Devastator to be moved, to be shuttled down in a future time. Mm-hmm. Yes, we do see the General Veers. The Admiral Mahdi, the General Tag is just very confusing to me.
And there is the battle deployment play replacing we're in attack position now.
So that indicates to me he's no longer interested in adding guys to the ship. He's now going to start going in on the ground. So let's see what he takes.
Blizzard 4 for Stormtrooper Garrison, maybe? And then if he did that, would he still have enough to do Blizzard 2 as well?
You know, I'm not sure. He's not activating that much because he hasn't gotten mob points battle or value any turn but the first turn of this game. So
Reed does have Goldenrod.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have enough to do a Blizzard 4 play and a good Blizzard 2. So I think you probably want to go for the Blizzard 2 here. I don't also see any really juicy pulls from Blizzard 4. Tom
I
County
think-
is force.
I think
Looks
you're
like
probably right about that.
maybe like 13 or 14 active, I'm guessing, from Tom. So I think we're probably going to see the Blizzard 2 come out here. Does he play 2 copies of Blizzard 2? Because he has one in his hand also.
Looks like you might. You've got the deck list.
Yeah, and just... I have to keep on double checking this deck list, because... Yeah, he has 2 Blizzard 2s.
Does Reed play Run, Luke, Run? Throne Room doesn't typically play that card, but it would be pretty nice here.
Unless you attack Luke directly, which would be what I'd be inclined to do, I think.
Well, exactly, but you would be forcing Reed's hand in that case. It might be more tempting to go after Anakin and Philo, one to get rid of Philo, and then also because you save a force that way by getting to initiate for free.
That is true.
And he is going to go to the docking bay, go after Anakin and Philo, not respecting the Run, Luke, Run, and he's going to go with the Blizzard 4 play.
Yeah, and there's the Dasan inside the deck. So I wonder if he takes. No, Dasan is not a warrior, so he's not an applicable target for Blizzard 4. But he really wants that. I'm surprised he didn't. I can't shake him for Dasan.
Who did you get there? Is that Tarkin? Or he's going to walk it back for a second.
It was Tarkin.
Now
But
he's,
now he's thinking
summoning
about
Mara
Mara.
to the top.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Mara instead.
Which means he's probably not looking to battle this turn.
These are some really passive plays. And he doesn't have enough to do a general... You're not going to get a better opportunity to get a general views developed. Yeah, he's got the I Can't Shake Him in his hand. Why would you not I Can't Shake Him last turn for Dasan while he's deploy -1, and then you can use Dasan to shuttle everyone down for free. If not this turn, not a later turn. It saves you so much force. But, well, we'll see.
Oh, was it Yularen that was in his hand?
Yularen is, yeah.
That we thought was Tag?
No, Tag is definitely in the hand.
Oh, yeah, they're both there.
Everyone in the conference room. He just saw that scene and really loved it, and then just kept... Yeah. Right now, Dasan would have already paid for himself.
Yeah. Well, he shuttles Navarre down. Mara, you would assume, is getting outside. And she will.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that you have all kinds of time as the Entanglements player, because Throne Room pressures you on the board, but doesn't really pressure the life force that significantly. And also, Tom has defensive measures to that. Tom is playing 2 copies of Tarkin's orders to cancel these ground drains. So he's not particularly susceptible to being overrun too quickly, but he's definitely behind on board here.
Reed's gonna play Don't Do That again.
Yeah, perhaps he's afraid of Always Think in Your Stomach, would be my guess.
Right.
That's definitely a card that we have seen go in and out of Entanglements builds, and one that is certainly within Tom Hade's... Tom Hade is definitely capable of playing that card, but it's in his wheelhouse, I would say.
Tom Hade plays most blowout cards.
Yeah, you would not be surprised. So, but he's just, I think you have to take 2 to this drain here.
And he's going to pitch I Can't Shake Him.
That was from top of reserve.
That wasn't the copy in hand.
Right.
Okay.
But, oh yeah, and from hand, Executor, yeah. He's correctly identified that Executor is not going to be good in this match. Reed just having the 1 Booster Impulsor Skate, there's a very low likelihood Booster Impulsor Skate is ever deployed this game.
There's another I Can't... No. Sorry, I looked up to the
Twitch
to
stream?
the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
And I saw another I Can't Shake Him go off the top.
I've been guilty of that as well.
He plays 3 of those? And
So
there's the one from hand.
To get a pilot. I wonder, does he get Dasan now? Yeah,
There
he
it
had the
is.
force for that last time. Maybe it was just you forgot. I mean, sometimes it's hard to remember to play that card. Because you're like, oh, I want to wait for XYZ to happen, and then...
Especially when Reed is deploying so many threats and you have to pay attention to what he's doing and you get distracted.
Yeah, it's an easy mental error to make, so that's probably just what we saw.
So we've got Padme
Yeah, added. So I
and
think
Lando.
Reed is probably interested in battling here.
I would assume so. Run Luke Run here would be brutal, but
Yes, indeed. But he does not actually play the Run Luke Run. But yes, it's a very scary card. But Tom Haid may have just figured it's not worth playing around that because Throne Room so often can't get value out of that card that it's not usually a sensible inclusion for the deck.
I would never play Run Luke Run in Throne Room.
This looks like the swing from Mara going for Padme.
And it's a hit.
Padme hit. Mm-hmm. Is that Lando, the other character?
Trample.
Trample.
Attempt to trample Lando. It's going to get grabbed.
Yeah.
Is it going to get sensed? Yes.
And sensed. The sense hits. Trample canceled. And Lando not as threatening as he could otherwise be because Tom Haid has battle deployment restricting one destiny. So Tom playing the Imperial Command to add destiny. But, I mean, Padme's got the destiny to attrition, so they're kind of drawing two each. So the 3 is the battle destiny, the 6 to attrition. Tom just drawing the 3 for his first destiny.
So Tom can keep either Blizzard 4 or Mara. It'll be interesting to see which one he chooses. I would probably keep Mara.
Yeah. Wait, what? Did Imperial Command also get sensed?
Yeah, why? Unless Tom forgot about battle deployment and played it to limit.
I think that must have been what happened because we didn't see a second sense, I don't think.
No, command got through.
Yeah, so I think...
And Tom's going to keep the Blizzard 4 and ditch Mara.
I wasn't crazy about the Blizzard 4 being... I would have kept Mara.
I absolutely would have kept Mara. You want to be able to swing at these guys. Yeah. Especially at Lando.
And especially if Trample hadn't been grabbed, then I can see the argument. But, yeah, I think Mara's doing more in this situation than Blizzard 4 would be, so...
You're running out of ways to get some of these characters off the table.
Yeah, but now that Dasan is out, he's got all these characters on a Devastator are suddenly much more live. They can... Commander Dasan, a otherwise terrible card, has this one line of text that says that shuttling to and from his location is free, which is fantastic when you start with a ship on the table and you're interested in doing a bunch of those kind of moves. So he's saving a lot of force in the long run in a deck like this. So those characters are now able to get down to the ground at no expense for Tom. So he's not quite as behind on board as it looks. Has Yoda used his pull for the Sense Alter Control thing?
I believe when he played Yoda, he also took that Sense into hand.
Okay. So Tom Haid knew about the Sense, and because he's running his own Senses, didn't pull a Sense Shield. Or is that I think we see an Oppressive Enforcement as that second shield.
I see...
We
can't make
see...
it out. I see Allegations in Battle Order. I just can't tell what the middle one is.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the ship of a Star Destroyer, or the bridge of a Star Destroyer, so I think it kind of looks like the Oppressive Enforcement image, and that does make sense. The one card canceled with Sense has been grabbed, so we can't really confirm that, but...
I also don't know what else it would be.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Which might tip Reed off that, okay, wait, he's playing that instead of There Is No Try. Maybe he does have senses of his own, as unusual as that would be.
It would certainly be a red flag to me.
Yeah. All right, so now going into this turn, I really should stop playing with this phone so it doesn't. All right. Okay, now we finally see the Blizzard 2 General Veers play. Blizzard 2 coming from hand and not from deck is kind of. Is kind of strange. I would have probably done the battle deployment pull for that. So battle at the docking bay, Lando retrieves Spylo, and for free because Tom Hate has not pulled out the secret plans. He reaches for the defensive shields. Thinking about it, but secret plans doesn't seem that important in this match.
I would probably like to leave that last slot open. I don't know what Tom has in the way of extra shield pullers, but...
Yeah, I agree. I'm not too bothered if he does an extra. So Tom pointing to the battle deployment now, so maybe he realized now that he does limit to 1. There's 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
That's huge, because now that's enough to kill both characters.
Mm-hmm.
Redrawing a 6 is also pretty big, meaning that Blizzard 4 doesn't cover. Incidentally, Mara would have covered and it would have hit a character here. So, I mean, if this is the line that he was expecting to pursue this turn, why would he not have kept Mara?
Well, Yularen's going to cover anyway, so that's not a huge loss.
Yeah, but you'd rather have Yularen than Blizzard. Like, Yularen... So now he can't really move Blizzard 2 in front of Luke because he's scared of Veers dying. If Yularen was a passenger, he would not be scared. You know what I'm saying? So Yularen is actually better than Blizzard 4 here. If he had drawn lower, I would have... Well, actually, no, I'm totally wrong. Because
you can just shuttle someone down.
Yeah, absolutely. So I take back all of that. Yeah, Yularen was the forfeit.
I still think I would rather have Mara than either of them, though.
Yes, oh, for sure. So now he's thinking about how and where to shuttle.
I'd be comfortable moving Mara and 2 scrubs in front of Luke even without a walker, because then you're forcing Reed to have Sorry About the Mess and Clash and another way to beat down, and that's a lot to put him on.
Right. And it looks like, I think, well, actually, we don't really know how large Reed's hand is or what's in it. We've asked Rob to see if he can give us some info in that direction, but not, what the... Just that? Tom is playing this really, really passively. I mean, the thing is, again, this isn't... Like, it really is about the board in the long run. If you're not going to flip, which is not going to happen here, it's not a huge advantage to go wide on the board.
One thing that was sort of handcuffing Reed was the fact that he didn't have 3PO this entire time, and now that he does, now he's going to start going nuts with card selection and destiny tracking, and you've given Throne Room enough time to get fully set up by playing so conservatively if you're Tom, and now they have access to pretty much whatever they want.
Yeah. And Tom Hand not being very great right now. I mean, battle deployment, of course, is a vehicle per turn, which is really nice. So there goes the senses.
Both senses off the top. That can turn out to be very big.
Yes, yeah. So Reed simultaneously realizing that he has to worry about sense and that he probably doesn't have to worry about sense.
And the fact that they're the first 2 cards off the top, so even a no escape wouldn't...
Yeah, which he doesn't play and very unlikely to play. But it's true. If both sack shields are on the table, you do have to lose 4. That's correct. Just reading the chat here. Anyone? There are not under attacks in Reed's deck. Yeah, as Tartag has answered already. Okay. Looks like the Twitch chat is kind of answering his own questions. So good work, guys.
They're a smart group.
Indeed. I've heard many accolades of the collective intelligence of Twitch chat. Of course, this Twitch chat is an unusually intelligent Twitch chat. We have to say. Anyway, did he drain with both Ray and Luke, or just Luke?
Yes, because he lost the 2 Senses off the top to the Luke drain, and then the Blizzard 2 off the top to the Ray drain.
Okay, probably doesn't mind losing the Blizzard 2 very much. So, but that, I mean, so Blizzard 2 was in the reserve. So why would he not have pulled the? He didn't use the Battle Deployment pull. It just seems strictly better to have pulled the Blizzard 2 from reserve as opposed to use it from hand.
Well, because he pulled Blizzard 4 from reserve and then had Blizzard 2 in hand, it gave him the chance to have 2 walkers down. Although I guess he did it on different turns.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So now we see Jin come to the docking bay. Tom, he does have a second trample, and he can upload it potentially with Blizzard 2, but that would be his last use of the card because it's grabbed. Jin, Undercover Spies, you're not especially worried about. Probably don't even bother trampling it, because how you win this, the Force Drain of 1 doesn't make a huge difference in terms of winning or losing. The game really is about who's going to get the control of Tatooine. And if Tom is able to flip and preserve the flip, he should be in a really good spot. If Reed is able to stop that, that's to his advantage. So that's kind of the axis the game operates on.
Well, Hera and Rey is a pretty good little tag team at the docking bay.
Yeah, and you're never worried about Hera's text not being active against entanglements because it's just Imperials, so it doesn't even need to combo the rolls. So there goes Tom grabbing that trample. We'll see if he tries to.
Although I suppose with Battle Deployment it's less effective.
Yeah, but that would require just an all-vehicle beat squad. It seems unlikely. But, I mean, it's less effective also, I think maybe your point was because there will be a walker and a trample coming out.
Well, that too, but it also stops Hera from adding a Destiny.
Oh, yeah. That's the more relevant point. Good point. We're both times now guilty of forgetting about Battle Deployment. So again, for those of us just tuning in, for those of you turning in, Tom Haid won the first game of this match by 5 cards. This is the top 8 match play event. The winner is the one to have, how do you say this simply? If both players win one game, the one who won their game by more will advance.
So Reed has to win this game by 6 force to advance. And if he wins by 5, it's going to go to a lost pile count.
Yeah. Which presumably Tom Haid would win. Definitely. So Reed needs to win by 6.
Do we know what the actual life force count was in the last game? Because the game went to time. So we know that the difference was 5 cards, but we don't know exactly what the count was as we see some ATSTs on the Devastator. Do you know which Tempest Scout that is?
That's Tempest Scout 1.
Tempest Scout 1.
The best Tempest Scout, because it reacts for free.
You can find that one in the Death Star 2 pre-constructed decks.
Is it really?
I believe 1 and 3.
All right, so we see a docking bay transit now going to... And I believe Undercover Spies can also use docking bay transit. But they pay with the light side text on the docking bay, I'm pretty sure. Do we have confirmation?
I don't know that one.
I think they do.
Yeah, because you can't move a spy from say the Death Star 2 to Endor for free.
Yeah, and you can't use the street text with the Undercover Spies.
Mm-hmm.
What?
We got a big squad in front of Rey and Hera. Although, why go there and not in front of the drain of 2? Why block the drain of 1?
So maybe what he's thinking, well, the thing is he has docking bays on both sides of the desert. So he can't actually trap the he can't trap the characters there because they can just dock and bay transit away. And Tempest Scout 1, I mean, it already reacts for free. I mean, this is just...
maybe he's worried about the sense on the react, but I still would have liked to see Tempest Scout 1 somewhere else, probably at the desert. And that way he's occupying 3 sites. He's really limiting Reed's options a little bit more. I know that Reed doesn't want to move to the desert, but at least if Reed does nothing, then he's got the drain there.
Yeah. And that's just, there's no possible way Reed is attacking that site. That's such a stacked site.
If you're worried about sensing the react from the Tempest Scout, then why are you leaving Jin unprotected at Mos Espa as we see Leia coming down? Well, I mean, there's no reason if you're gonna respect the sense at Docking Bay 94, you have to also respect it at the Mos Espa Docking Bay. So we see I can't shake him.
Hold on, you gotta finish that thought, because what's gonna happen with Jin?
That's what I'm saying. Presumably, the reason why Tempest Scout 1 is backing up Blizzard 2 at Docking Bay 94 and not sitting at the desert is that Tom is nervous of Reed sensing his react.
When Leia battles Jin?
No, if he were to battle at Docking Bay 94.
Okay.
But that's the only reason to put the Tempest Scout at Docking Bay 94 and not at the desert. But if you're nervous of that react being sensed, then if he were to battle Jin, you're in the same situation.
So you were saying he was battling Jin. The confusing plot, but Jin was the main character on the Rebel side in Rogue One. So that's actually a light
Jin is an undercover spy.
Jin is indeed an undercover spy.
I made that card.
I was really just waiting for you to get there.
She's the same color.
Yes, that part is really confusing. I don't think we ever had a virtual card that's a light side card, because you look at it, there's no like back to the paper, it's just dark side. So you kind of assume that it's a dark side card. The only thing that tips you off is that it says Beru Lars on the bottom.
This would be less embarrassing if my name weren't on that card.
that part's also, yeah, I agree. All right, we got there.
That's why I'm not allowed on the design team.
So anyway, leaving open, Tom here doesn't pull the firepower. I would have kind of wanted to pull the firepower at this point. So Tom, looking through his reserve deck, a few interrupts, nothing really of consequence. I think I saw the Admiral's Order there. And this, finally, has got to be the turn where he goes to more than one site, right?
I don't know what else he's going to do. He's losing the damage race.
Yeah.
He has to make a move. You talked about throne room establishing board control, but not really putting pressure on you. Well, Reed's hit him for at least 12 or so in force drains over the course of this game. He's got to start making a move.
Yeah, and the Walker's continuing to go to the Devastator. I guess why not? If you're not going to battle with it, it does settle down free. Reed
hasn't lost a single card outside of battle, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Although he could have just forced. Did he not force drain at the document? I guess he didn't want to give Leia value.
That's true. It would have gotten Padme back. Yeah. Now he's going to deploy Tempest 1 to the Devastator, shuttle it down along with... I didn't get a great look at who's aboard.
Yeah, I can't tell either.
But now he's got 4 walkers on the ground. He's going to spread them between the docking bay and the desert, still not looking to engage with Reed's characters.
Yeah.
He's going to have to find a way to get to 3 of the 4 sites if he wants to win this game.
Yeah, he's going to need to flip in order to win. And that involves clearing one of these characters, or one of these sites. Probably Luke would be the easier clear. But no, he's not. He's just getting drain 3 and 1.
Luke would be the easier clear, but I think there's still value in trying to clear Leia if at all possible, just because it'll allow him to start draining without worrying about Reed's retrieval on the ground.
Yeah, I think you should just need to power through Leia and just let her cancel 2 drains and then
Spite the bullet next turn.
Yeah, I would have done it this turn.
It's going to get Leia and Padme, and what's the next card? Is it Lando?
I can't remember. That sounds pretty likely though.
It's either Lando or Philo.
Yeah, and Reed just continues to plug away with this drain out 2. That's. Yeah.
And remember, with 3PO on the table, letting Leia use her text, you're essentially giving him the option to take those characters straight back into hand.
It is true, but I mean, you have to do some damage in this game sometime. We see I Can't Shake Him and Shiranu, I think both from hand, and then that must have been the second Force drain of 1.
Shiranu was going to do nothing in this game. Another I Can't Shake Him.
Yeah. Right, yeah, Shiranu, what is he? He doesn't work with Mod. If Madi's on the table, Shiranu won't add or something?
Well, he won't add because there's nowhere for him to drain space at the moment.
Not until he flips Shiranu. That's the more relevant thing. There's something that suspends Shiranu. Is it like Kuat drive yards?
Might be. Madi can't deploy if Kuat drive. Madi interacts with Kuat drive yards. I think they both maybe interact with Kuat drive yards.
Yeah, that might be what it is.
Let me look up Shiranu.
But not relevant here. Okay, meanwhile, we see Captain Yutani and the battle, and so Reed's just continuing to build up damage potential here. So Tom's clock just got a lot shorter, so he needs to do something proactive at some point.
You were correct. Madi does stop Shiranu. That's a bit of a non-bow right there.
Yeah, and I think Madi is out.
Omnibox combo?
Yeah,
what does this do here?
I think he's just shuffling something. Yeah, okay, looks like just a shuffle. I mean, it gets a 5 back, maybe he needs the 5 for something. Can't really see what he would use the 5 for.
Do you like the Obi-Wan to the Battle Planes play versus just trying to shore up the 2 sites on Tatooine?
I think with the way this game has gone, I think I do like it because he's gonna. If you reinforce the Tatooine site so much, Tom is going to be able to outclass you there. Mm-hmm. And so I think just adding another place to do damage is worth it with the way this game is shaping out. All right, so now we see the drain and Leia cancellation. So
Padme, and then is that tunnel vision next?
Yeah, that's the tunnel vision next. So yeah, and now he 3PO, so he does get the Padme. So we knew it was going to happen eventually. Just had to kind of do it. So maybe last turn he did.
Oh, it's Grimtash.
Well, now it's Grimtash because that was for the second drain.
Second drain. So okay.
So he only Leia'd once. I'm not sure if that means that was because Leia's tapped out and that was his second Leia, and we missed the first time it happens, or if he just only elects to do it one time.
He must have done it twice because he lost Lando, Philo, and Padme all after playing that tunnel vision.
Yeah, so maybe it was Lando that was on top, and he got Lando and Padme back.
He Unitad one back and Leia the other 2.
Okay. So we just sometimes we don't see everything. All right, so the Omnibus. Oh, so that's Tarkin attacking. I see. I totally missed that by.
They drew it for Destiny.
Yeah, so Tarkin attacks Obi-Wan, and now there's no Battle Planes value, but still, I have a feeling he's not going to move.
I'm a little surprised he didn't use Obi-Wan to get the tunnel vision back before Obi was lost.
That's a good point. And now, come on, move Veers. Please move Veers. Moves Veers and Tempest Scout 1. Is it Tempest? No, that's not Tempest Scout 1. It's Tempest 1. And we do get a shuttle from Jyn. Or the Docking Bay Transit.
How many tramples in the deck?
Just 2, I believe. Emperor finally back down from his long sabbatical in space. There's like 4. Yeah, there's Tag. Tag's been on the table. That's where he was. Tag, a very strange inclusion in this deck, given that he doesn't play many troopers. He doesn't have the Biker Scout package, and he doesn't have. Do they have a code clearance? So, I mean, Tag is a general, which is nice, but he doesn't have. Tom may at some point want to be exchanging the battle deployment out of Resort if we're in attack position now to start getting some pings for having generals and commanders.
Certainly why you
controlling
play Tag is if you're going to play attack position.
Yeah, I think, that and command are like the main. What? He
He's
doesn't?
going to let Blizzard 4 go out of play?
Why?
He has the Force.
What does he need the Force for? It looks like he's got 3 Force active.
He used the Force, and then he took it back and let Blizzard 4 go out of play. He paid the upkeep and then decided against it. So it's not as if he forgot. It's not as if he was really planning to let it go out of play, but he decided there's something he'd rather have that Force for.
Yeah, I'm stumped.
Maybe for reacting, but
All the reacts are free. I mean, unless he has like a Stormtrooper patrol in his hand, but I don't think he does. I don't think he has Stormtrooper patrol in the deck.
you said he didn't play troopers. I did see a garrison in the reserve.
The Garrison, I think, was the only trooper I saw when I was looking through. He doesn't have the Biker Scout package, is what was interesting. Let's look through this Dark Side list again here. What would he want to be saving this Force for?
He's got at least 2 Force saved as well.
He has 2 garrisons in the deck. He has 2 Imperial Dominations, which we haven't seen. That might end up being pretty good. Just got some Imperials in Lost Pile here. Does he have... Yeah, he doesn't have like Tempest Scout 6 to deploy as a react or Storm. I have no idea what he's saving this Force for. I mean, he's got the Force to firepower as well, and to... He doesn't really need to grab right here, but he has the Force for that. Blizzard Force staying on the... I mean, who knows? I wish we had post-match interviews just to ask questions like this. That's like one thing that I really love to have an on-site commentator for, is to just, after each game, ask the questions like, what were you thinking when you did XYZ? Or tell us this about the deck or something. You see that in a lot of other, yeah, in the one other game I watch. I'm sure that many games do it, though. It makes sense. Anyway.
Mike Pistone asks in the chat, are you sure he plays 2 tramples? Tom's the one with the deck list. But...
Yeah. No, and he actually has another trample in his hand right now.
Okay.
So we've got the trample grabbed and trample, but he's holding on to it. It's not too important for him to trample Jin here. So I think he's saving it. Maybe he wants to trample Yutani. Wouldn't be surprising.
I'm pretty sure Reed has the sense back in hand by this point.
That seems like it could be very likely.
I certainly wouldn't sculpt a turn around playing a trample that was just going to get sensed. I would much rather have Blizzard 4.
Yeah. I mean, we're really at a loss for why.
If it hadn't been grabbed and you could play it and cycle it and then pull it back again with Blizzard 2, then I'm all for that play. But Reed grabbed trample, so it's one and done. You can't just run him out of senses by playing it every turn.
But, I mean, I guess that is the answer. That's why you need Force active, is to pay the 2 to play trample. But it looks like he has 3 Force active, right? Either way, there's no way he planned that. Like, there's no way he planned the whole turnout. There was a mistake. Maybe it was, I should have saved 1 more Force, and now I don't have enough Force, so Blizzard 4 has to go out of play.
It's possible he wants to grab sense. Is also why he would want the 3rd Force, because both of his senses are now in the Lost Pile, and he's maxed out on shield, so he can't play There Is No Try.
That could be. But
he played Firepower before.
Yeah, which I was kind of on board with at the time, but that was not thinking about There Is No Try, which probably Yeah, probably that would have been better to have pulled theirs in the try rather than the firepower. The oppressive pull kind of getting him a little bit here.
Kind of fizzles when you top deck both of your senses.
Indeed. What?
Reed already played Unita.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Unita was already on the table.
That there's no way he did that back. Well, we gotta text Rob.
Judge.
That was one. Do we think that was accidental? Maybe that was. I mean,
I don't know, but
that's
Unita
not
was on the table before that.
Yes, 100%.
And Reed had 3 characters in the lost pile that all got out of there somehow. He didn't ditch Walkling, so I'm not... I would love to go back, and here's the attempted trample. And Reed doesn't have the sense, so Yutani's gone.
Yeah.
And it was 2 force saved by Tom, because he paid both to trample.
Okay, so I guess that must have been what he was thinking about.
I'm a little shocked Reed didn't have the sense, and I'm a little shocked Reed did have the Unita that was already on table.
Yeah, that part more, like, how did he pick that up? Did he just sneak that into... I mean, let's not try to...
Let's not assume the worst here. You're backing me up on this. That Unita had been on the table for a few
Unita
turns.
was definitely on the table.
And there were 3 characters in Reed's lost pile that all got out of the lost pile. Leia twice, and then something else, presumably Unita.
And the response was, there is no active judging. So I think Rob also noticed this and can't do a thing about it.
In the
Even though-
chat, they're saying, didn't he evac it? Is evac on table? If evac's on table, I certainly don't see it.
Evac is covered up by the Skype call. Or by that. Okay, yeah.
Okay, if evac is on table and Unita was on table because of the evacuation control,
All right, I'm glad
then
this was us
that
overreacting.
clears it up. All
Good.
right. All right. There was a card that we couldn't see. But then how did that 3rd character get out of the lost pile? Because Philo went in, Lando went in, and Padme went in. And all 3 came out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe he Obi-Wan one of them?
Might have already used the Obi-Wan. Yeah, it could be.
We talked about how he didn't Obi-Wan the tunnel vision back.
That could be why.
So maybe he Obi-Wan one of the characters. All right. So this is us overreacting.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's...
In the meantime, that battle worked out pretty well for Tom.
Hold on. Wait. I missed the battle. So what happened?
I thought Reed had battled, but maybe it was just a straight trample on Tom's side against Yutani.
Yeah, I think it was a trample and then a move
off
away.
Yutani. Okay.
Yeah.
Trample and then move away. Either way, a much better position here for Tom.
Yeah, so he's got the Tarkin's orders in hand, so he can probably start looping that to cancel the Luke drain if he wants to ignore Luke, but the Obi-Wan drain is going to be an issue.
It looks like as far as the evac control goes, according to the chat, and I trust the chat, that there is one more card left on evacuation control, and it's the Hear Me Baby.
Yeah, I see the Hear Me Baby now, which of course has no other business being on the table.
Right.
So, no, that's the Unita. I mean, it looked like it was in exactly that spot and exactly that position. But, yeah, that would explain why.
I want to give a shout out to Queso Sauce, who's in the chat now.
Is he the one who's gotten the that answer for us?
No.
Oh, no, Pistone.
Jerry's not typically the one to
Thanks, Pistone.
come up with answers, but it's just nice to see him.
That is true. Hopefully we'll be seeing him in a couple months at Worlds, or is it a couple months, or is it a month now?
I believe it's just under 2 months.
Just under 2 months.
There's a second Hear Me Baby? Reed played 2 of those?
I think. Hold on. I was about to look up my phone, but my phone seems to have died. It wasn't low on power, was it? What did I do?
Sauce is coming to Worlds, which is exciting. Sadly,
Indeed.
I won't be there.
Oh,
But-
no.
That's the first time I'm missing since 2009.
Is it a holiday?
No, it's my best friend's wedding.
Oh, okay. I think we may have already had this conversation. All right.
That's tough.
Your best friend's wedding. Yeah, that's... The summer being wedding season leads to a conflict or two every year, it seems.
A couple of years ago, I had that issue where there was a wedding in New York on what would have been day 3 of Worlds, and Worlds was in D.C. I played in day 2, and then ran up to New York on Saturday night, but it's a little bit harder to do when Worlds is in Minnesota.
Yes. Anyway, Tom Hayden moving into his move. I think my phone just like legit died. You might have just thrown it around
He's
one too
still
many
got
times.
he's still got to deal with the Luke. He's still got to put someone in front of Luke. He can't just keep ignoring it.
I mean, not necessarily. Although Strike Force is out and they grab her, so I was thinking he could loop the Tarkin's orders, but Strike Force shuts that down. Okay, so it looks like Veers is going in front of Luke, I'm assuming.
And Jin's going to move there as well.
Yeah, which indicates presumably that Luke is not going to be battling.
I don't see any reason to battle with Luke if you're Reed.
Right, I agree.
You can just bleed him to death with Obi-Wan at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
I mean,
red cards in hand for Tom Hayden. He's going to pitch 2 commands.
Tom
the battle
needs
plane straight.
to, like, at this point, like, Tom would be... Tom gets in a good position once he starts really out-damaging Reed. So you can take that, too. But he's never flipped and doesn't have an occupation. So he hasn't gotten to that position.
Have we seen an occupation?
I
All
don't think
game?
so. I'm trying to see if he even has occupation in the deck list, but again, my phone...
I didn't see one in his reserve either.
Yeah, so it's possible. I know Ryan Jellison has been playing entanglements without occupation whatsoever.
So Reed
So-
doesn't have a canceller. I feel like if Tom has occupation, he just wins.
If he can flip and stay flipped.
Oh, right, because on the 0 side, it shuts it down.
Right. Reed has the one escape pod and we're doomed. But Tom can just grab that.
All right, so Chewie comes down to Docking Bay 94, and he can easily hit the bikers. Or the ATSTs. rather.
ATSTs. And that's
And then we see the Padme that he got back with Leia. Philo's going to go over to the Home 1 Docking Bay.
interesting. I wonder why not just to the Docking Bay 94.
Maybe you want to make sure that she stays safe in this battle. That you don't know if Tom has 4 saves, so you don't know if he has a
Yeah.
3rd trample.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah. he's
Reed
worried
draws
for
1-3, which is the lowest destinies in his reserve, which he let Tom verify before, but that's still good enough.
Yeah. So no close call, obviously, in Tom Hade's hand, or I believe his deck. Tom
Tom
shuffling.
draws a 5.
No, that was
Or
from
that was
hand.
from hand. Oh, he's going to shuffle his reserve.
Shuffle, own reserve. Not usually the use that you see Omnibox put to, but Tom may know that he's got some low destinies on top. Although Emperor, of course, could have done that, but I think it's more like he just wants to get the
5-4 from Reed and a Stormtrooper Garrison, a 2 or a 3?
before.
It's a 4.
Uh-huh.
All right.
It's the Reflection 3 card. You have to
It's,
put away your
of course,
preconceptions
they
about
don't,
what
they
is
don't,
reasonable.
they don't make cards that are Destiny 1, 2, or 3 in that set.
Not at all. It looks like, yeah, everything dies except for Tempest Scout 1. And from Reed's side, just, who died?
Ozzel,
Yeah, but who died from Reed?
Leia.
Leia. Oh, right, okay. So that turns off Padme a little bit, but Chewie is still there going strong.
The damage seems to be done at this point. It looked for about a turn that maybe Tom had stabilized to an extent, but...
Well, Luke still doesn't really have anywhere to go. It's going to be hard to kill Luke without Veers there. Oh, I see. Padme going, or Philo going to the Home One docking bay so she can transit free to the Executor docking bay.
Yes.
That
And now that's a drain of 3. So 5 damage off Tatooine per turn that Reed's threatening.
Yep.
And Reed still has, it's not clear from looking at the table. Tom's working with not too many cards in Life Force. Reed still has a ton of Life Force that he can use for whatever he wants. He can afford to pay 6 to drain every turn. That's not going to start to hurt him for a while because Tom just hasn't done any damage to him on the ground. So there are the cards that Reed's put on table, which aren't nearly as many as the number that Tom's put on table, and Tom hasn't taken any damage. Or Reed, rather, hasn't taken any damage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. Reed has turned what I think is probably a unfavorable matchup into a significant advantage here.
Is Occupation typically only playing 4 sites these days?
Yeah, well, it depends on the version. The Walker-centric version usually plays 4 sites. The Trooper version will usually play 5.
If Reed if Tom had a 5th site here, things would be much better for him. And an
if he had a
Occupation.
5th site and an Occupation, this game would be a lot better, indeed. So Tom now, they're trying to do the count. Tom trying to figure out, how do I get him down to 6 or 5 cards? Nope.
There's an extension of the hand.
He says he can't do it.
Reed Smith.
Reed Smith moving on.
Getting some revenge for that World Championship final last year. If you'll all recall that Reed and Tom met in the championship at Worlds just about 10 months ago, and it was Tom Haid taking the crown. And now a little bit of revenge for Reed Smith.
Yep. So we'll see. Do we have information about who else has moved on? We know Chris Kelly has moved on. And let's see if we can get the rest of the... No, I don't see anything on the thread or in the Twitch chat, really. So we know Reed and Chris Kelly have moved on. Greg Shaw had a first game win by 25, so we assume that he probably won that match. And then the final match was... Oh, wait, I've got a PM. Is that Seymour who I PM'd forever? Okay, yeah, he's on vacation, so he can't do commentary. Who was the final match? Who were we forgetting?
The Carulis.
Oh, Matt Scott and Justin Carulli.
Matt Scott and Justin Carulli, all right.
So, yeah, I don't think we have any information about who's advanced there. The winner, so Reed will play the winner of Matt Scott versus Justin Carulli. Presumably the other match is going to be Greg Shaw.
Chris Kelly and Greg Shaw.
Probably Greg Shaw. I mean, I'm assuming he won the first game by 25.
That seems like a good feature match to me.
It's good, yeah.
Especially since we just saw Reed.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably what we'll want for the next round, but
Reed's going to be disappointed when we tell him that he can't play on camera in the next game.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
You know he likes to show off.
Oh, yes. So Tom concedes, Reed advances. Matt Scott, according to Queso, Matt Scott won. But
Matt Scott.
Yeah, he just says Matt Scott, so maybe that's not a confirmation that Matt Scott won.
As opposed to Matt Carulli.
Yeah. Oh, I see. He's correcting. It's tough with the delay to see what exactly they were talking about, you know. Queso indeed has no info, so we're not really sure. I'm going to take a brief break here, and hopefully we'll be back for round 2. I don't know when. Probably the match, like all the matches are over, but we'll see.
Yeah, game 1 went to time, so you have to figure that it can't be. Although game 2 was only about 25 minutes, half hour, so.
Yeah, it could have.
We'll be back sometime, probably in the next 30 minutes to an hour, 45 minutes or so.
Or possibly in the next 10. We'll see. We'll see whenever they're ready.
What's going on here? They're taking out their decks.
Oh, no. Card signing. All right. Well, I'm taking a break.
All right. We will be back. You are watching live coverage of the 2017 United States National Championships here on twitch.tv/SWCCG. For Tom Kelly, I am Casey Annison. We'll be back in about 30 minutes to an hour.